Build of the favorites, we here for the latest. South side or the north side, not tuned to the greatest. Home team for the home teams, both sides got our own rings. On the mound or the long ball, but we don't put the wrong strings. Yeah, it's that time of the year now. Wrigley or guarantee, so the whole league that we here now. New show with a new mood, discussions and interviews. Trade rumors that might be. This is Pinwheels and Knife.
All right. Gotta just do the tweets and whatnot. There we go. There it is.
I'm ahead of it. I already had the retweet out.
Yeah,
Got
you
in the
did.
chat on time. Crushing it.
Yeah, Mitch beat both of you guys here today.
He did.
That's crazy.
We're ready for a breakout sophomore campaign.
Might go buy a lottery ticket because weird shit's happening today. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, everybody? It is Thursday, April 6th, and you have found the Pinwheels and Ivy podcast. I'm your host, Matt Swaski, a.k.a. Father Zoe, and with me, as always, Mr. Aldo Soto.
I'm going to get right out in front of it. I'm sorry for the Hayden Wisniewski hype, but he's still going to be good, guys. He's still going to be good.
Cost me money. The good Reverend K. Fitz.
I would like the record to show that the Chicago Cubs have not lost in 3 days. It's been a very nice 3 days.
Take that.
And you heard him. Sophomore NASCAR Mitch.
All right, I want to ask before we get into the shows, though. You know, we have boots on the ground at opening day. So, as the Big J journalist you are, I want to hear about the experience. I heard it was a disaster. I had a buddy that went that said he waited 45 minutes to get in the parking lot and got turned away. So, tell us about the opening day Guaranteed Rate Field experience.
All right.
Tailgate.
Let's pay some bills and we'll start off with that. All right, fair enough. So we're going to talk about home opener, and we actually have 6 games on both sides. Well, Cubs only played 5, right? Because they got rained out.
Yep.
6 games for the White Sox, 5 games for the Cubs to talk about. We have actual statistics and hot baseball takes to finally have regular season baseball is here, ladies and gentlemen. So with all that being said, let's tap this cat. As always, the show is brought to you by Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com. Make sure you download the app and turn on push notifications to find out the latest and greatest in everything in Chicago sports. Sports Mockery, sportsmockery.com, and also brought to you by Uncle Bud's on 9700 South Cicero. Go check it out. They're updating the food. The beer list is like that thing changes all the time now. I can't keep up with it. They got karaoke night. They got trivia night. They got darts, golden tea, you name it. It's just a good time. They got about, I think, 6 slots now, 6 machines. So
6 slots.
Okay.
Yeah, go make some money.
Gotta love a 6 slots.
They got TV. They got TVs everywhere. It's a great place to go watch a game, have a couple beers, and enjoy some food. Uncle Bud's, 9700 South Cicero.
I know where I'm going when I come up for NASCAR night. Pre-game at Uncle Bud.
You might have to sit in the corner and ask someone for the TV to put on NASCAR, but
no, it's for the Sox. They're having a NASCAR night. It's literally going to be like Kaminsky Heaven. They're doing a theme night for NASCAR at Guaranteed Rate Field. So I'm going to.
Did you not look at You didn't look at the magnet calendar.
No. Did they do that after you won your regional championship and it was like in honor of you?
Probably. We'll just go with that. Yeah.
I like it.
They had the players driving too. Gavin Sheets could not make a right turn. Way too heavy on the brakes. Loose in corner exit. It was a disaster.
Home opener for the White Sox. The weather was fine. I mean, it was a little overcast, a little cold, but everybody was dressed for it. Shout out to the Chicago sports bums. Those guys threw one hell of a fucking tailgate. I'll tell you that. Everybody got there early and they were planning on waiting till 11 a.m. to open the gates, but there was so many people there and the car line was like getting into like a busy traffic area. And they're like, yeah, we got to open this up or someone's probably going to get T-boned. So they opened that up about 10:30. Food everywhere, high spirits everywhere. I went and talked to the On Tap guys, the 108 guys. I met Gas Money Bob. Like all podcasts were accounted for. I took a picture over my head and said, there's got to be 15 podcasts in this one picture. I was not kidding. But everybody was doing great. And like, it was so much fun that it was like, oh shit, we still got to walk in and watch a baseball game. Like I'm dead serious. That's how the feeling was. Nobody really wanted the party to stop. And so we walk up there and yes, the White Sox have a very serious problem. because every gate we started on the one side closest to the Ryan, and I was walking with Herb Lawrence, and we walked all the way around to the other side where the craft cave is, and the dugout bar or the bullpen bar. Every gate had a line 2 blocks long, easy, like ridiculous. Everybody's feeling good. I'll say that. You know what I mean? But I would be pissed if I was standing in that line with my 2-year-old surrounded by a bunch of people that are feeling good. You know what I mean? Like it'd be like, yo, like I don't really want to do this right now. Luckily, me and Herb got crafty with it. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm not gonna reveal some secrets, but we kind of got in, but the lines were just it's atrocious, man. Like it was absolutely brutal. I don't know how it was like for your buddy to get to the parking lot, not right when it opened. I could imagine that was terrible too. But yeah, the lines to get in were bad. But once you were in, it wasn't bad. Like there wasn't too bad lines for like beers and food. Bathroom was fine. Everybody was in a great mood. And then the Giants just hit 150 home runs, and it was like someone took the air out of your balloon. You know what I mean? Like everybody was like all go go go, and everyone was in a great mood. And then it was just like, okay, like this happened. And went to Cork after. People were still everybody just wanted to drink at that point, and then hitched a ride home. That was it.
Now, I was going to ask you, now that you went to a game. Well, I guess it was different because, like as you said, home opener, you guys were feeling very good.
Yep.
Especially early on. So, like maybe you don't even have that good of experience or recollection, but like with the whole pitch clock, how did the game feel differently from years
Very
before?
very fast, because I got up to get a beer in like the 3rd inning, and when I got back to my seat, it was like the middle of the 5th.
Oh, you missed
And I
all
was
the home runs.
well, I was like, I wasn't even gone that
Pitch
long.
clock.
Like it was a 10-person line. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it just wasn't. I know. You know what it was? Is I got up and got a beer and took a piss, and then by the time I got back to the seat, I was just like, yeah, that was. Whew.
Well, I was gonna ask what the boo to cheer ratio was for Mike Clevenger when they were doing all the players, but it sounded like everyone was stuck in the damn.
That's why they did it, Mitch.
I was standing outside still. So Missy in the comments are saying the beer situation was bad. I didn't have so I only go to one beer stand when I go to Sox games because they have Busch Light Tall Boys. So I don't know what the other lines were like, but my line was pretty short. Because the game was going so fast, I only got like 3 beers during the game, and I forgot that there are no cash. So like a dumbass, I went to the ATM before I went there and I had a bunch of cash. So I was like, oh shit. All right, cool. But yeah, my line was cool. I guess just only cool people drink Busch Light Tall Boys, but there's a lot of newer things. But I saw tweets today on Wednesday from like My Sox Summer and Wally and those guys in the 108, and there was like no one there again. You know what I mean? Like they probably just walked right in. It's just the home opener is always crazy. Home opener, halfway to St. Patrick's Day, like Elvis night. There's certain
NASCAR
nights that
night.
Bobblehead giveaway night.
yeah, NASCAR night is obviously going to be a huge attraction.
Damn right.
And it's the first dry run by the staff too, by the way. I mean, they're trying to figure
Right.
their shit out too. So
It always seems like it's bad.
But
Like they're like not equipped for big crowds. It feels like because they're never used to any big crowd.
Yeah, the line situation on the south side has been an issue now for a couple years, and I'll tell you what, if I was a season ticket holder, I'd be hot. There are a lot of teams in Major League Baseball that have a separate entrance for season ticket holders, because you're blowing all that money with that team. The least they can do is like give you a no line way to get in.
Like I don't. What is the whole? Because like, don't they just check your ticket like on your phone? Like,
Yeah,
is
dude,
it a bag policy? What the
No,
hell is?
yeah, well, some of that, but like you walk in, you walk through you take all the shit out of your pocket, throw it in a little basket, walk through the metal detector, grab your shit, scan your ticket, and you go.
like, how
I
is that?
think part of it
Not enough metal
is
detectors?
because the White Sox open their gates usually, and on opening day they open earlier, but a lot of times they only open them like I think like 90 minutes before the game starts. Where most MLB stadiums open them 2 hours before, so it's a little bit more spread out. But when you got all these people tailgating and it's only open 9, it's like the lines are going to start being longer because they're waiting longer to open a lot of their gates. So I think during the regular season that factors into part of it. But
And I'll tell you what, when they opened the gate, I should have fucking time lapse videoed it. It seriously, it looked like a scene from like Saving Private Ryan. Like people are like
Slowed down
rushed
and
into
shit.
park. There's people setting up grills and tables, and then people like raising their podcast flags and all this other stuff to like stake their claim, and like everyone's like trying to like elbow into different places. It was
I got
wild,
people
dude.
with like knives using bubble gum to put like a mirror on it.
Meanwhile, because
Shit.
yeah, and meanwhile, because none of you fucks live in Chicago, I'm just sitting there, literally holding a 30 rack of Bush in my left hand and a Bush in my right, just standing there, like looking around, like, all right.
You keeping the case till you got to the end, right? Was that basically the plan? As soon as you have to give it up, you give it up, but you keep going
It's
until
like, all right. Well, no, I think somebody, I think it was either Dougie from Bums or Brian from Getting Drafty. Somebody was like, hey man, I got room in my cooler. And I was like, all right, cool. So I was doing a 2-in, 2-out system. And then I walked over to the 108 guys. They were chilling by Cork at Beef's place, and I had 4 pocket beers. And so,
bro, this is why you need, and Missy, you'll get yours soon. I'm sure it's on the way. You need.
I know. If I had a beer satchel, that would have actually been really clutch for that walk.
We made zero profit on those beer satchels. I'm sorry about the price, guys. That's the only place that makes fucking beer satchels or like those fanny packs.
Yeah,
this is one of the few people that's going to be prepared for the tailgate.
Yeah,
a beer satchel would have been extremely clutch, dude.
Yeah,
6 beers.
This is going to be booming. She's got a big following. She's going to be walking around the Guaranteed Rate Field parking lot, and all of a sudden, our business is going to pick up on those.
Missy, if you're still listening, I just need you to do one TikTok with the beer satchel, and sales will skyrocket.
Like shit. Like what goes on our faces? What can I fit in the beer satchel besides beer? And you could fit like a Chihuahua in there. 4 fanny packs. You only need
1
2.
beer satchel. Yeah.
I do remember that Cork was out of buckets, so there was like all these people walking around just like holding 5 beers. Like, yeah. Beer satchel would have cured all that, folks. You would have, but definitely,
I was jealous until I saw the game, but it did look like a good time.
It was a besides the actual baseball part of it, it was an absolute blast. I tweeted that I absolutely love the community that White Sox Twitter has put together, and I mean it. Everybody was so friendly. Everybody just had a really good time, man. And when you're around a group of like-minded people, all with the same goal to have a good time, you usually have a really good time, and that's what that was, and that was really cool. And I can't wait to get back to the game. Hopefully it's not that crowded again, because that line was no bueno.
It's funny, like opening day.
I had a piss. Oh my god, it was so bad.
Opening day at the office, they kind of like loosen the dress code, so like everyone's walking in with their like hats, whatever. So I come like rolling in with like White Sox hats, like second day on the job. And the guy that's sitting next to me, I hadn't met him yet. He comes rolling in with like a Cubs jersey. I was like, "Oh, son of a bitch!" And I'm like, "I promised I'd be nicer to Cubs fans, but
he's got balls. Doing that in Missouri. Gotta end up in the lake in Missouri. Get that boy.
That's a ballsy move in Missouri. So that was the home opener. White Sox fixture line shit, and so let's actually talk about baseball. So after, what is it, 6 games, the White Sox are 500, 3-3. Cubs are 2-3, but they got rained out on Wednesday, so they could have easily been 3-3. So what we wanted to start the show with, because everybody loves these, we're going to do way over the top early reactions to what we've seen. So, Fidge, you look like you're about to burst, so why don't you go first?
Over the top reactions?
Over the top reaction to what you've seen in the 5 games the Cubs have played.
Oh, wow. I mean, I can't use the Patrick Wisdom thing because we all know what he is, so we all know that he's gonna be great in the first 2 months and like absolutely just blow shit up after that. Though I think probably the biggest overreaction or like whatever would be probably, I think honestly, like I know Aldo's joking about it, but I think Hayden Wesneski's start. I think that the dude he gave up a couple cookies. He's still a young pitcher in his first start of the year. There's a little bit more expectation on him. And the dude went out there and he gave up 3 runs in 4 2/3 of an inning. But here's the thing, and this is something that Aldo and I we talked about too. He didn't walk anybody. So you give up a couple cookies. Who gives a shit? They're solo homers. People forget Fergie Jenkins, one of the best pitchers in Cubs history, gave up what was at the time a league record home runs in a season. Now, guess what? Like 60% of them, 70% of them were solo jacks. So it was like basically nothing. It's actually a pitch conservative, really. Get on to the next guy, whatever, move on. But he didn't look bad, or he didn't look great early, but he did have a couple really, you could see the movement as he felt like it looked better as he got on in the game, actually. He felt like he had more comfort. And then he got pulled with 2 outs in the fifth, really close to getting out of it. But he gave up he kind of left the ball a little bit up, and what's his name? Friedel.
TJ Friedel. Hey,
Friedel
no
is.
clue who the hell he is. Just looks like an
Friedel
all-star center fielder.
Yeah, but he just straight one to left, and that was it for the day. Rossi said, "I've seen enough," pulled him out, but not bad. Like again, it's not that is something that I think was a major overreaction. Like, oh shit, this guy's not good. No, that's actually pretty damn good for the most part. 2 mistakes and then a couple singles early on. Again, my big concern about the Cubs is the starting pitching. The last couple starts have come out flat in the first inning after being staked runs. But it's nothing to overreact about with him because he's a young guy and the dude has some nasty stuff. And if that's him pitching without his nasty stuff, that's pretty damn good pitching instead of just throwing.
So to Fidz's point, was Nasty's final line for his opening start: 4.2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, all 3 earned, 2 walks, 4 Ks, gave up 2 nukes for an ERA of 5.79.
And no walks in front of those nukes, which is what me and Aldo were talking about. Just
That's
give
fair.
up a solo.
But it's funny that you say that. It's not really funny because I know how frustrating it is, but it's odd that you mentioned how you're concerned with the Cubs or how their pitchers are coming out in the first couple of innings. Welcome to the 2022 Chicago White Sox, where if you missed the first 10 minutes of the game and turned it on, the White Sox were down 3-0.
Well, here's the thing. They weren't down. The Cubs were up 3-0, and then Smiley gave 4 back, and then the Cubs were up 1-0, and Wisniewski gave up the lead. So they took the mound without throwing a pitch with a lead. They were staked a lead before they threw a pitch, which that one really hurts.
Talking about same game? Or are we jumping around games?
No, we're talking about Smiley and Wisniewski, right?
Wisniewski's game. He gave up 1, but the Cubs got 1 in the first. So
yeah, but they let off. The Cubs were the visitors, so the Cubs took a 1-0 lead without him throwing a pitch, and then he gave it back. Same with Smiley. The Cubs were up 3-0. Smiley went out and gave up 4. So like being staked a lead and giving that up is very concerning in the first. That's a suck a life out of your clubhouse kind of thing. That doesn't make a clubhouse feel great when like, hell yeah, we got these guys already on the ropes right out of the gate. Oh shit, now we're down 1? What the hell? Or now it's tied again? Like shit. Give you a run. Get us back.
It's like one of those games today.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And get back in the dugout. Get a smoke ring.
All right, that's the first Cub ones. Mitch, you go first for the White Sox.
See, I don't have any overreaction. I'm going the other.
Do.
Well, no, I mean, I'll tell you what my biggest takeaways from the two big things. So like with Kopech we'll start here because everyone's like he sucks or whatever. Honestly, I do think there was something to like the tipping his pitches. Like it made a lot of sense. But there was some positive takeaways from it, despite all the bombs he was giving up. I think that's going to be one of his worst starts of the year. And he still had 12 swings and misses that he accumulated, which is
15,
pretty good.
I think he had 15 whips actually.
12, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, facts.
You can check it. I'm pretty sure it's 12. Pretty sure it's 12.
Okay. That was Monday.
Yeah. Well, anyway, 12 or 15. Pretty sure it's 12. 15 would be even better to prove my point. So, like,
Photoshop 15.
I know. I'm totally Photoshop 15.
The new changeup he had looked really good. So I think there was a comment today from Pedro Group was like, we're not gonna like go too far into it, but we saw some stuff that's gonna be fixed, which makes me believe that like, yeah, he was tipping some pitches. So I think this rotation is gonna be really good. I was really impressed with everyone. Even Mike Clevenger's start was like, okay, there's something there. They're going to be good. Moncada, too, as good as the batting average has been. Like,
no, you get one hot take. You don't get to
this is
my
hot. All right. Well, biggest takeaway that I was proud of my boy today. He had the foot injury, right? And Moncada of old is leaving that game. And he hung in there and he stayed. Maybe it's the new shoes, but that, like, besides the home runs, the batting average, like the fact that he stayed in the game after the foot injury, played the rest of it, and looked pretty good the rest of the way. That was my biggest takeaway. Like, Moncada's back, baby. He's tough now. I like it.
The foot injury. Fuck out of here.
I didn't get much. I was kidding.
No, I did like.
Oh, that's a good one, Ian.
Some of the velocities, though, with Kopech, his fastball average right now for that game was at 94, which
not that far down though from last year's. Like it's the lowest it's been, but it's not as like significant as everyone's making it seem. And it's the first start of the year.
Well, the bigger thing though, yeah, he's obviously going to ramp up because he's at the 5th spot for a reason because he was hurt. He's coming back. But I did like how hard the slider was. It seemed like that went up. It was just stop throwing curveballs, please. Because I think he threw like 2 or 3 curveballs and both of them ended up in the parking lot. So yeah, that was he threw
You can count them.
5 curveballs. Oh, only 1 curveball got hit for a homer, but I just felt like all of them got fucking smoked. But
I think part of it's the pitch tipping thing. And he did top out at 97 in like the first inning. So like the velocity we know is there. So
here's
I'm
my
not worried about him.
We talk about pitch tipping. How many of his fastballs were hit at a high exit velocity, or was it mostly off speed?
No, it was mostly his fastball.
Mostly fastball.
I don't. I'm not saying. I'm going to say that it'd be probably less inclined to think pitch. I mean, it's obviously got to be some sort of part of the problem, but it also could mean he was just flat and he had no movement. He had no late giddy up.
That's what I think it was. I think his fastball was just flat as fuck.
It looks like a beach ball. You might as well.
He threw 51 fastballs that averaged at 94.4 miles an hour, and 3 of them were hit for home runs, and he only struck out 2 guys with a fastball.
Yeah. That sounds like no movement. That sounds like everything looked flat and it looked like large to you guys at the plate. But I think there could be some heat to the tipping pitches too, just because, I mean, reading too, but if you're throwing 94 up and these dudes are just teeing off, it's straight because, I mean, that's not good. You need to have that movement. That definitely
the crazier part about that Kopech story was that as bad as he was it gave him 5 home runs, 4 in that 5th inning. It could have been like a lot worse. Luis Robert made that great catch in center field. There were a few other balls hit to the warning track, like right at the wall. Like he wasn't fooling anyone. The fastball didn't look good at all. Like after I think he was throwing 97, 96 in the first inning, but after that, it was back to like 94, 95 at best.
Will be the Pirates. His next
after his first start, Michael Kopech is at 2% when it comes to barrel percentage. He was finding barrels the whole start.
Yeah.
Just
everything was just getting crushed.
Yeah. I guess, Mitch, to your point, I'm not in no way. I've already seen people say throw him back in the bullpen. I've already seen all this other bullshit. Just fucking relax. Although you're up, Cubs.
So it was like 2 for 1 because it has to do with each other. David Ross on the hot seat. Because everyone's the bullpen. Mitch, you mentioned it last week when we were talking about the preview, and there's a couple no-name games in the bullpen or just some question marks to start off, and there is, and like that's the biggest part for me looking at some of these games, the decisions of like, should I pull this guy? Should I not pull this guy? Is that there are right now? I'd say there's like 2 or 3 guys in the bullpen that by like the middle of the season they're maybe not going to be in there. Like I'd give them like a 50-50 shot of like still being in the bullpen. So they still have to figure that out, where there's a few guys, who do you trust? Because again, it's not like they have a late shutdown closer either. And then the problem I have though with Ross in terms of the pitching moves, because like, again, this isn't new to any team. Every single fan base is going to complain about their manager and their bullpen moves. Even on good teams. Is the inconsistency of when do you pull guys? On Sunday, Jameson Taillon was brutal against the Brewers, high pitch count. He's out after 4 innings. And then after that, Julian Merriweather goes in. He's bad. Rucker goes in. A few more runs score. It turns into a blowout. Cubs come back a little. And like they go from 9-2 and it's 9-5, and it's like it would have been nice if the bullpen could have shut down the Brewers for those couple of innings. They didn't. The Drew Smiley start, terrible. He goes into the 5th inning, and you can see the entire game. He only got like couple strikeouts. The Reds were on everything he was throwing. And
the Cubs took a 3-run lead twice in that game. Correct.
3, and then they were up 6-4 when he gave up the go-ahead 3-run home run. Yep. And that was a situation where, like, in that inning, so start off the 5th inning. So literally the game before, you took out your starter in after 4 innings because he was struggling. Now you have Smiley out there, And like I guess, yeah, you used a couple bullpen arms, but you have a guy and he brought in Keegan Thompson. This is what's so frustrating. The plan was it was going to be it was basically like a piggyback start. Like, okay, a guy goes half a game, then guy comes in, and he goes the next 3-4 innings. Keegan Thompson finished that game 3 1/3 innings, gave up 1 hit. If he that was the move, just bring him in there because Drew Smiley was already he let it lead off single Kevin. He hit a batter, and then he did get like an out. He got 2 outs. But he didn't look good.
So here's my question.
Make the move there because the pitching staff, the depth at least, while there are guys struggling early on, that is your strength on this team.
Do you think that especially that moves like that, or especially early on in the season, are a direct byproduct of what a lot of fans criticize David Ross about, which is he overtrusts veterans almost to a fault. And so he let Smiley go out there because, well, Smiley's a vet. He'll figure it out. But that's the
thing. It's not consistent though. Because Jameson Tynan is a veteran.
It's true.
But he took him out.
And he doesn't know Jameson that well.
It's like he's 4 innings done. That's true. There's maybe a little less familiarity there, with Smiley coming back. But that's just the troubling thing. But again, once the bullpen gets figured out and there's better guys, because that's the other thing. You need, like we saw with Reynaldo Lopez, even when guys get into trouble, if they can rely on strikeouts, all right, you'll take the heartburn for like 10 minutes if at the end a guy's gonna strike out the lineup and get out of trouble. The Cubs just don't have a lot of that right now. They have a couple of guys at AAA that can come up and do it, but right now there's a few guys that in a couple months are probably not going to be in the bullpen.
So is this a byproduct of people holing up and letting Jed cook? The lack of bullpen depth, letting Jed cook might have. Well,
because there are guys who are. That's the other thing. There's guys who. Okay, so like last year, there are guys who had great second halves, right? So did they do enough to earn it? Like I guess so. Yeah. Like they were good. They did it in MLB. They did it against MLB teams. So you still want to give them that chance, I guess. But then, there's a couple of guys that they like the stuff. Like Julian Merriweather is the prime example. Julian Merriweather, great stuff, throws 98, has a great slider. The results in his career with Toronto weren't good. They weren't good, but it's like you see the stuff. It's like, okay, let's get him in. Let's mold him. Like they want that as an organizational win. It's like, hey, we took this guy from somewhere else. He was shit there. We brought him in, turned him into something great, which they have with a few other guys in the past. So it's just that's the frustrating part. And then the lefty stuff, though, that is also frustrating because it's not totally their fault, but they're the ones making up the roster. Brandon Hughes was their shutdown lefty last year. He gets a knee injury middle of spring training. All of a sudden, they have no lefties. Maybe they should. You're right, Kevin. They should have given. They should have given Chase a call in the offseason.
Yeah, he's doing fine over there in Detroit. But this is good. This is a byproduct. Again. So you and I, you guys are fucking laugh, but watching the game, obviously, Wesneski, gives up that hit, and there's a guy on first. There's 2 outs. Lefties coming up. 2 lefties, consecutive lefties, I believe. And I'm like, oh, I got to take a piss. So I go to the bathroom. I tweet real quick. I go, oh, well, he's pulling lefty. I mention like, well, I guess he's going lefty here, blah, blah, blah. I go to the bathroom. I come back. It's not a lefty. The Cubs had no lefties. They had to bring in Rucker, right? So he's a righty. Like, I'm like, Jesus. Like, how bad is your bullpen makeup when you have no lefty to fall on, like, at all? That's not great. And
welcome to being a White Sox fan because we have no lefties either.
Pedro said it best. You can lose in spring. You can lose a playoff spot in the spring. You got. It's not. These aren't meaningless games, and this goes into the sell at the All-Star break if they're not careful.
I agree, and I understand the lefty thing, but like I'm more of like the guy has stuff. Then like I'm fine with the righty. Like okay, take the Sox for example today. Like Reynaldo Lopez having to face, and now mind you, he was designed to face the righty, and ended up walking him and having to face Jock Peterson. But like if they're good, I'm fine with the righty facing a lefty. Like I would take that like a stud coming in to relieve, than like throwing in a Jake Diekman caliber pitcher just because it's a lefty matchup. Like Manalytics over analytics.
Manalytics, I like it.
Well, I mean. They brought in a guy that has a career 5 ERA, so that's not. I don't think that was a move.
And that's where the other bit of the overreaction kicks in too. It's like at the end of the day, you do just go with whoever your best pitcher is. Like before, I would always be like 100% like, yeah, you go with the lefty-lefty matchup, you go to the righty-righty, you look at the splits. But at some point, you do just go with who is your best guy in a big situation. And that's what the frustrating part. I'm more annoyed about the Drew Smiley game when you're going to go to Keegan Thompson, who is one of your best pitchers out of the bullpen.
Yep.
And like it was the batter too late where, well, bam, 3-run home run, you're losing now.
And we know this too. And we know this too for Ross to get on Ross too early. These guys are told these are the guys you have today. These are the only guys you can use today. So fucking make it work. And in his case, he might have gotten a really shit list for that ball game because it was, the tweener game of a series. And, here's David Ross going, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. This shit sucks.
And that's why you can't really blame him. It's not like the Cubs have a ton of established horses yet. This year's about finding out who those guys are, especially early in the season. So it's hard for me to criticize bullpen moves, especially for David Ross' position where he doesn't really know who those guys are yet. There's very few that you're yeah, this is a dude I can trust in a high leverage situation.
He just feels a step late. He feels a step late. He just feels like for some reason he feels like with Patrick Wisdom. We don't know why Patrick Wisdom bunted to that situation.
Oh my god! No, a couple moves where you're us why, Kevin.
It was the hand.
No, because he thought that was the best move for the Cubs in that spot.
Can't defend him there.
Yeah,
I tried to defend him. That's dumb as shit.
Yes, exactly.
That's dumb as shit. So
that's why I was so pissed off the day after.
He's like a move behind every single time. It just feels like he's a step slow right now. I don't know. He needs to catch up a little bit.
Besides the bunting thing, the other thing that the reason I bring up, the overreaction being David Ross on the hot seats, because there are Cubs fans who he became manager in 2020, won the division, and then got his talent traded in the middle of 2021. For the past 2 years, the Cubs they've been a bad team.
They've had to manage.
They've had bad players, bad pitchers who are not on the team who weren't really ever good. So it's really tough for me to go back and judge and every single move because it's well, the guys he was going to were bad. Yeah. It's not like he didn't have a lot of good options to go to. But this year it does matter because they're supposed to be competing.
And fans have bought in. I drank the Kool-Aid. I'm 100% drinking the Kool-Aid, and we bought in hey, maybe again, I'm a dumbass. I drank it like fucking Jim Jones is what I did. I drank Jim Jones's Kool-Aid thinking the Cubs are going to win the division. But now after watching 5 games, I probably am. I definitely was drinking the Kool-Aid. Might have been snorting the Kool-Aid. I don't even know. But the fact is, Rossi has had a year and a half plus of non-competitive baseball, and it's difficult to also flip that switch back into that high intensity as well. And I think David Ross, I know it sounds like maybe weak dick, but I think the dude deserves a little bit of time to finally get what it feels like to actually be in meaningful games again, because it is hard when you're coaching. Hey, we've literally gutted your roster and you don't have the horses, but hey, go make it work, buddy. And now he's got a little bit more of the horse
games of P. Wizzy's bunting all the time.
I was going to say, Mitch, with all this being said, if David Ross calls for another a bunt for from Patrick Wisdom, 2 career sacrifice bunts in the majors, 3 in the minors, in more than 4,000 plate appearances, I will be calling for his job.
But I will say he's been writing good lineups, but I don't know if he writes the lineups or if it just comes from the computer. So I don't know. Chat GPT is out here. Bat Nico Horner first. Finally, someone said it. The AI finally put.
Oh yeah, that was locked in spring training.
Jesus, took long enough.
So my early season overreaction: Luis Robert's going to win a Gold Glove, and Dylan Cease is winning the Cy Young.
Okay.
Instead of overreaction, but.
Luis Robert, the way
the biggest thing
really
for me,
I mean, honestly, though, those sound realistic. Those don't seem like overreactions.
The biggest thing for me,
genius projections. At least one of them sounds genius.
Well, so Dylan Cease came out in opening day against the Astros and just put on a clinic.
Shoved.
It was absolutely masterful. He went out there, 6.1 inning pitch, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 10 strikeouts against the defending champions. I mean, that's on their big banner night. The hype was all.
They hadn't lost on an opening day in over a decade, too.
And the biggest thing, though, in those 6 innings, 0 walks.
Yep.
That's important because of what we're going to talk
Attacking the
about
zone.
now. So on Wednesday, the White Sox played Baltimore, or not Baltimore, San Francisco in a home game. The weather was pretty shitty, whatever, but it was Dylan Cease day again, so everybody was kind of pumped. He got it done, but it was like vintage, as you were saying, all the like vintage Cease. He went 5 innings, 5 walks, 8 strikeouts, and again, he only gave up 1 run and 1 hit. But the biggest thing was the walks. And although you said in the preseason show, the biggest knock that you have on Dylan Cease is how quickly his pitch count gets up there. So it's tough for him to go deep in games. And that was put on full display on Wednesday as he had to get pulled after 5 innings. I think he was at like 100. He was at 99 pitches when he got pulled.
Yeah.
But to that point, and I'm sure Mitch, you'll back me up on this. As a White Sox fan, the positive on that is watching Dylan Cease walk these guys. And Dylan Cease 2 years ago completely crumbles.
Yep.
It's completely fucked. The whole start's washed. He's in his head. He's overthrowing. He's either going to throw fucking meat right down the middle or he's going to walk the guy. And it's a disaster. Flash forward 2023, April 5th, Dylan Cease act like he didn't even care. And he came out there and kept pitching.
You know, I would have
Kept him
loved
in the game without having his best stuff,
Yes.
which is that's when you know you've really matured as a pitcher.
Exactly.
I would have loved to have seen this game today, but MLB blackout rules.
That's
San Francisco's one of the 6 here in Vegas.
I thought they stopped the blackout, but
radio only.
The other thing with Cease in his start against the Giants, he was missing, but he was missing
out
low
Glenn.
and away. He was not leaving anything up. And the Giants, obviously, as Michael Kopech learned, are very much a fly ball team. So by missing low, that's how he kept kind of the Giants in check. And again, he only gave up the 1 hit and 5 runs or 5
Joe
innings.
Kelly found that out too.
Yes. God, fuck Joe Kelly. God damn it.
Just tell him why.
Just tell him.
I had put together a very beautiful. All right. First of all, death, taxes, and when Dylan Cease is plus money on the over of his strikeouts, you fucking hammer that.
Yep.
And it's hit both times already this season. And I tweeted it out on Wednesday morning trying to make all you assholes money. And I hope some of you took advantage of it because it hit again.
Gambling laws.
But I put together a nice little parlay. Dylan Cease, 8+ Ks, he hit, or 7+ Ks, so he had 8. I had Webb with 4+ Ks, he had 4 strikeouts, which I kind of sweated that a little bit, but he got there. So I was like, all right, I'm feeling good. And then I took the under at 8.5.
2 aces.
Cold weather, shitty day game. Supposed to be a getaway day, but they have a game tomorrow on Thursday. So I was feeling pretty good. And then the White Sox started putting up runs. And, you know, it's hard when you bet the under for your team because you don't want to tell them, like, don't score runs. But then it's sitting at 7-1. Again, I had an 8.5. So I'm sitting right there. For some fucking reason, Pedro puts in Joe Kelly to pitch the 9th, and Dick Nose gives up 2 runs. White Sox win 7-3.
Kendall Graveman's looking pretty good right now.
Fucking bitch.
So did you? I don't know. I mean, this is incredible. I just put on. I'm sorry. I put on the White Sox game. Now I can watch it because it's delayed. Whatever. First pitch of the ball game, knuckle curve for a strike. Like
he was leading off against the Giants with a lot of changeups. First pitch, throwing that first, like the Jock's first at bat, he went Jock's up there, and you could tell the knuckles are turning white. He's ready for 98 up and in. Dylan just throws like a 78 mile an hour changeup low and away, and Jock was just like, "What the fuck was that, dude?"
That knuckle curve is so effective against lefties because it has that downward dip and it pushes away.
Yep.
Plus, it looks like there's a little bit of wind. I can't tell a little bit. I can't tell.
It was windy.
I think the home run he gave up got gobbled up by the way.
It was windy as shit, dude. It was
that knuckle curve in that wind is even dirtier because it does have that additional movement that, well, again, like with that knuckle action that it goes with. Just that's all. That's awesome. I'm just sorry. I put on that.
That's fine.
That's also was good to see from Cease is that he didn't go away from the break.
Here, real quick, while you're watching that game, Fids, because I know you're going to want to talk about this. On Wednesday against the Giants, Luis Robert went 3 for 4. He's been hitting now in the Houston series. Luis looked fucking lost at the plate. I mean, I know he hit a home run in the 4th game, whatever, but those first 3 games, and Fids said something. that resonated with me. And after he said it, watching those at bats, it made complete sense. He looked like he was up there completely guessing every pitch. He wasn't swinging. He was like overthinking. Like it looked like that gif of Zach Galifianakis with all the numbers and like addition symbols and stuff floating around. Like he looked like that. Looked like kind of like a deer in headlights too. And the swings were bad. And I put up a tweet like somebody needs to fix him. He's too good for this. Blah blah blah. Like obviously something was wrong. And somebody in the White Sox organization, their new hitting coach or somebody, did their
analytics
fucking job.
guy they hired.
Did their fucking job and talked to him before the Giants series. And now he looks like his old self. He looks healthy. He's swinging the bat more confidently. But the work he's doing in the field is just insane. But
it should be noted too, the Astros, and I agree, he did look like he was guessing.
The Astros
have a great rotation.
One of the best pitching staffs top to bottom in baseball.
If you're looking bad against them, it's not.
But if you're guessing against that quality, you're in trouble too. And
he was.
So old coaching cliche we use. Analysis is paralysis. And if he gets up there and he over analyzes these things, and he's in his own head and he's not, or he's up there guessing, and let's be honest, he hasn't seen a lot of professional pitching. He got to move up pretty quick, so he wasn't exposed to like plans. He's just naturally just pissed on bad pitch calling, basically up until that point. Man. And now he's seeing people that can actually like locate and call a very good game sometimes. And they have the scouting report out, but the fact that he's not he's so fucking gifted that everyone guesses a little bit, but then it's guesswork mixed with athletic ability that really separates these great athletes and these great hitters. And he was relying too much on, I mean, in a sense, his guesswork. And let's be honest, if you're not a pitcher, you're not going to guess right.
Right.
Especially if you're not a former pitcher. I mean, some of these guys were pitchers when they were younger too, so they know somewhat how to like dot and move around the zone. And he didn't do that, so he obviously has an even lesser understanding of like an approach from a pitcher. But
also, and correct me if I'm wrong, Fitz, because I know you were watching. It looked like he was focused really hard on trying to go to the opposite field. Like it looked like no matter where the pitch location was, he was trying to slap it into right. And that's why some of those swings look fucking awful in those first couple games. And then after,
I wish I could show, because I can't. I don't know if I'm allowed to share the screen. I don't know if I can, but let me show you if I can share the screen. If MLB
real quick, all 12 people watching this right now, be cool. All right, Fitz, go ahead. You can share it.
Cool. Somebody. I ain't telling no one. Smokey back here taking a shit.
Cool. Sorry. But after those first 3 games, while you're getting this up, it looked like he's obviously stopped doing that, and he was working on gap shots up the middle, which you should be doing, and that's where all these doubles came from. And the fact that after 6 games he already has 2 homers and 3 RBIs is huge for him. Here, go ahead, Vince.
Well, look where he went with this. I mean, this is post contact already. So look where his front side is. It's just arm extension. He stayed back. Look at his back leg. He's not driving much. This was hips. This was just hips and hands and less lower body, because he saw and recognized the pitch. He saw it out of the hand. And because he's got great hands and athletic ability, he was able to flick the wrists and punch the baseball the other way. I mean, look at it from the side too. See, like he's coming through, but watch, he's already got that front foot down. Boom, way down early. So now he's got to readjust his hands, but because he's so physically gifted, just
it's that boxing strength in the off season, baby.
It was the shadow boxing. It was the shadow boxing for sure.
But no, that was huge. And I mean, as far as like areas that are of concern for the White Sox after the first 6 games, obviously in the Houston series, it was situational hitting. They left, not exaggerating, 2,517 runners in scoring position in those 4 games.
We're all about facts in this show.
Yes. I was trying to stay.
Double check that, so kind of one by one.
I was trying to stay very positive. And the way I was trying to trick my brain, I was saying like, hey, at least they're getting hits. Every game in Houston, they had double-digit hits. But the first 3 games, they couldn't get over 4 runs. That kind of tells you something. And they got it in the 4th game because of Moncada in the 9th inning. But that seems to be, I mean, that's something that you can figure out, dude. That's like, I'd rather them be getting the hits and this be a problem than them just not hitting at all.
And this was a problem last year too, but I think a lot of it's just like they don't have that Jose Abreu run producing guy, so it's just other guys got to step up and become the guy that's driving in the RBI.
And to that point, our young rookie, Mr. Colas, who I'm not mad about how he's playing so far, but in that Houston series, he got a crash course on Major League Baseball situational hitting because he came up a lot with runners in scoring position, and a couple times he was up there, he was trying to hit the ball fucking over the train tracks in Houston when all I needed him to do was choke up and just poke it into right center or something like that. But he was he was over swinging and he struck out. But again, I'm not knocking the kid. He's having a pretty good start to the campaign. He's batting .286. He's got 6 hits and 21 plate appearances. He's already got a double and an RBI, so he's getting all that off his plate. He already has a stolen base too.
Like he had the bad at bat where he's stranding runners, and like he didn't get disengaged, like in the field. Like he makes a great play in the outfield and saves the run.
And he popped up and did that was awesome.
This is the double, by the way. Look at the point of contact there. Almost identical. Look at his back shoulder, though. The ability of this athletic swing, he's golfing a moving golf ball at this point with where he has his hand set up. I mean, as a golf swing, you know what this looks like. Yes. So this is a driver shot, right? You deepen up and you get your arms extended, and this is him now.
Back shoulder.
He is, but look at his hips. Where he's still got his hands back in his point of contact.
I'm staring at those hips the whole time.
Yep. And so still able to let the ball get deep enough, even though it's outer half, mind you, to drive it into the gap for a double. Like this is what makes it so like, boom. I mean, look at he doesn't even finish. Like watch his finish. He's just like that's his finish. Right there.
I had like 15 jokes on a tee once you said he didn't even finish and he kept going. But
I mean, look at that though. Like that's just a chip shot. That's just a but he's got such strength. He's got great hands. It's impressive, man. This is a good thing for him when he stops guessing too much and he relies on what he can do really well. The dude is elite as they come. Period.
But so far in 6 games, the White Sox, wow, that's a super even number. The White Sox as a team have 50 hits. In the first
pull back up that last image there. This is something I'd like to point out.
Freeze it right there.
Yeah. Stop it right there.
Stop it right there.
All right, now look at the coaching staff. This guy, not asking for any fan advice. This one, not falling asleep in the dugout. Other one looks engaged, hands in the pockets, glasses on, looks like a badass. That's what a new and improved coaching staff will do. Not asking for he looks like he knows the rules right there in the middle. This is good.
He
looks like he just moved away from the rest of the coaching staff to go fart closer to the bat rack.
And Oscar Colas is about to get the wrath of that gas. But
you get them with their mouth open right when they're going to grab their helmet. It's great.
Welcome to the show, rookie.
Andrew Vaughn thinking about his farm down there.
But to that point,
Vaughn's hair.
We can go that way with it.
On there. I
don't know about you, Mitch, as a White Sox fan. I have a completely different vibe off this team than last year already. Totally. You're seeing guys like Moncada sprint down the first baseline and get infield singles. Like that didn't happen last year.
That infield single today?
Everybody on the team, top to bottom, are sprinting to first. They're going from first to third. Our new third base coach he's still learning his personnel a little bit. Don't know why the fuck he sent Andrew Vaughn on Wednesday, but I like the hustle. I like how they're staying up. Even when they were down in games to Houston, you didn't feel like, okay, I can turn this off because there's no way they're coming back. It's just a whole different thing. And then as we talked about on the season preview show, a lot of these guys had down years last year, and there was zero chance that was going to the perfect shitstorm was going to happen again. And I mean, we're already seeing a healthy Luis Robert Jr. making fucking Chanana play after Chanana play in the outfield almost every game so far this year. I think Wednesday was the first game he didn't have like a diving catch or a leap at the wall or something crazy.
And the vibes look good. I know you're a big vibes guy. Like
huge.
They look like they're playing for each other, which is like nice to see. And then Liam's gonna be back too. Big boost in morale there.
Yep. Liam ringing the bell. If Liam ringing the bell didn't get you a little fired up, I don't know. You might not have a heart. But Yohan Moncada, you go on the the White Sox batting stats page right now, it's just 5 pictures of Yohan Moncada. He's leading the team in batting average, home runs, RBI, OBP, and hits.
And let's be honest, does last year's Yohan Moncada stay in the game Wednesday after tweaking his foot?
No,
No way.
he's already in a club in Northwest Indiana by the 9th inning. But
Writing a new album.
but he's playing phenomenal. And did you notice the first game is he had the bright yellow gear on?
Yeah, the
And I guess
green, neon green.
I don't think he liked it, so he switched to the green, and he's been rocking the green ever since. Which, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. TA's doing TA stuff. Elvis Andrews, fine. Yeah, I'm good with that though. I'm absolutely fine with that because last year the team was a traveling funeral. And
I was gonna say he just wanted to get Hanser some ABs,
which worked out.
Hanser, the people's champ, base hit in his first at bat.
I feel like
this is not good for my Leary Garcia propaganda.
I feel like Hanser's going to be the people champ on the south side.
Hanser also
it'll be him and whoever replaces Jose Ruiz when he gets DFA'd late.
Yep.
Those are going to be the two people.
I already talked about Oscar Colas. Elvis Andrews, thank God he finally got that fucking 2000s hit. You could tell he was trying. Yeah. He was trying way too hard. He got that moved on. But the biggest thing, though, to me, can we talk about Yasmani Grandal? I want to talk about Yasmani Grandal. Let's talk about Yasmani Grandal. My man is healthy, and you can see it from a million miles away. And it's not even what he's doing at the plate. It's what he's doing behind the plate. Looks like a fucking honey badger back there. He's bouncing all over the place, stopping balls, keeping balls in front of him. I mean, he let one bummer wild pitch go away, but that thing was spinning like a top.
It's like a 56-footer.
There was no way he's getting in front of that. Fitz, that was hilarious on Twitter when people were like, how can he not stop that? You're like, have you ever tried to stop a ball spinning 100 miles an hour on its side? Like, you're a moron. But he's looking real spry back there, throwing guys out from his knee. Come on.
The arm is still questionable. And I know part of that's holding the base runners on. Like, they're stealing a lot of base on it. But the defense does look good back there. I mean, we were talking about it on the playback, too. Like, right after opening day, it was like one of my bigger takeaways with him was like, get the home run. He looks spry behind home.
We already got one. Yes, fuck you, bat drop, which, that gave me chills, baby. I was fired up when I saw that shit. Late in the game, too.
He's the king of clutch homers. Like 2021, he had a lot of big home runs.
Yep. But a healthy Yaz.
Don't take for granted the fact that he's throwing guys out either this year. With as easy as it's been this year to steal a base, as easy as it's ever been in the history of Major League Baseball. Okay, I finally saw Vaughn's double. Holy shit, that was also well struck. Yes. And also a very nice job of getting his front foot down and just sticking back on the baseball and driving it the other way.
He definitely ripped that ball.
Yeah, that was well hit. He trusted his hands, let it get deep. Let it get deep, and then you can really get a little bit of a stick on it. But that's a like, oh god, that's swinging.
I love it, and it's just you can already tell too. There's already been a couple instances where you've been able to see he got hits where that's not a hit last year because of the shift.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time he did that, he hit that piss missile between the first baseman and second baseman.
The worm burner.
Yeah, and he got to first base and he just had an ear-to-ear grin like, fuck your shift, dude. Like, I'm so glad that shit's gone. But talking about stealing bases too, we got the new guy in charge talking about be aggressive, be aggressive, be aggressive. White Sox already have 5 stolen bases in the first 6 games. That was not the case last year.
I feel like and you heard it in some of Tim Anderson's interviews where it sounded like he was alluding to La Russa was holding the reins a little bit.
Amazing, phenomenal, edge of your seat interviews.
I've been saying it since spring training. Tim Anderson's the #1 interview giver.
Yes, but I love seeing that. Benintendi's got 1, TA's got 2, Alva's got 1, and Colas got 1. Yeah, man.
We've kind of been burying before we go back to the Cubs stuff. I feel bad we're dominating, but we kind of been burying the lead with the Eloy injury here. I feel like
I got a question for Zoe too, but so we can do both.
That is kind of important news. You're right, Mitch. We should probably
we'll go Cubs. We'll go back to Eloy. I got some thoughts on Eloy.
Before we swing back though, Zoe, for you, especially today, the discussion that you had on Twitter, because for those of you who don't know, if you weren't watching today, Tim Anderson got run. He got run after his strikeout. He was actually who was hitting? Was it Robert that was hitting?
Yep.
Or
he got called strike 3 on a pitch that was at fucking South Shore Beach.
So the idea is Anderson got run, and you were dealing with some jamoke that was just out there like just shitting all over Tim for it. But the fact, we talked about it a little bit. These guys are leaders in the clubhouse, and these guys want to prove to their teammates that they're going to go to hell and back in a gasoline suit for them. And part of that, building that trust back, I believe, for all these guys after last season, some of these guys are going to go above and beyond the call. And I think the fact that Tim Anderson today had Luis Roberts back, not his own, but Luis Roberts back, is just, again, you bolster that clubhouse. And that is one of those, what was the score? What was it? 4-1, 7-1? When he got run?
It was still pretty early.
Yeah, it was pretty early. Yeah.
Which is even better because look at how the game ended up. Look at how his teammates said, "Fuck, yeah, let's go, fuck this."
I agree, but it's kind of like a pick and choose your spots type thing. If this is like day one of the ALDS, then like
no, but it's a game against the Giants in April.
Exactly. So then absolutely,
yeah, absolutely. But he's building he's the guy. He's basically saying, in the scheme of things, he's walking up to the biggest, tallest badass in the room and punching him in the jaw and saying, "I've got your back."
Yep.
Let's go. And that is so beneficial for a clubhouse that these guys, and I'm sure that nobody gave a shit that he got kicked out of the ball game. In fact, I'm sure someone's buying him a beer tonight to say thank you, because that's what you do, man. You go, and these guys sometimes plan their shit. Let's be honest. Managers go, I told you guys today, I don't know how many times I'm like, hey, I'm going to get run this inning.
I don't think TA was planning that. He was still pissed off.
I think it's almost like one of like
and he knows when to pull back too. He knew what to say, when to say it, and he knew that the juice was worth the squeeze on that.
Yeah,
it's almost like a hockey fight when you're trying to change the momentum. So you try and start a fight to like get the guys going, and it's not like, because like I saw a lot of people like the argument was like, "Well, that's stupid. He does this all the time." It's not like last year where we like bumped the umpire over something stupid. This was like you said, defending a teammate, trying to prove a point where like it gets everyone fired up. It's just not being an idiot get thrown out for something stupid.
This was about the he, not the me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I still think it was out the his strikeout though. I know it came after the Roberts strikeout, but
he was fired up about that.
Mad.
So if you didn't watch the game, Tim called for time. He backed out of the box. He didn't get the time from the ump. Webb threw one right down the middle for strike 3. Game at bat over. So he was still hot about that. But then the first 3 or 4 pitches to Robert, he didn't say anything. And then that horrible strike 3 call came from Robert, and he just went ballistic out of the dugout.
But I think the majority of that angst was on the.
Oh no, it was built up, and to Fitz's point though, he during the first couple pitches that Robert at bat, he probably was just sitting there going, "Fuck it, I'm doing it."
Well, here I'm seeing it right here in when there's 1-2 in the count, he says something when he digs in.
He asked for time. Stone was all
trying to step out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
same exact thing Manny Machado did.
Yeah, it was like the Machado thing.
So he's out. He goes back to the dugout. Not super happy.
I thought he was going to get ejected there when they got strike 3. Like, he should a little bit.
Yeah, like when he was just like walking away.
Yeah, like he's going to turn around and say something here. Yep.
He's in the dugout. He goes back. Luis Roberts already seen a couple pitches. He's got his gloves off. He's getting loose. He's putting his shit down. He takes his helmet off. It's still a 1-1 count. Nothing coming really from the dugout just yet. But so it looks like he didn't look like he was stewing by any means. His body language didn't give stew.
Oh,
and then strike 2. Strike 2 is not a strike. Not a strike. So now strike 2 hits, and that's not a strike. So that's the first pitch. That's a bad call. It should be a 2-1 count for Luis Robert. And then strike 3, not a strike. So 2 straight bad 8 inches off the dish calls. That's enough. Yep.
And the funniest thing, though, you can clearly see TA yelling at Webb, being like, "You're soft." He was mad that Webb threw that pitch.
It's not even
for
close.
that strike 3, because he's just like, you could have just stepped off the rubber. You're soft as shit. You were scared. Like,
the White Sox do not respect between Ron and now TA. They do not respect the Giants.
Right, new rivalries, Giants, White Sox,
and hold the ball if I call time.
Hold up. Now, here's something that I find kind of funny. It might not have all been out of TA's mouth. There's somebody else yelling right over his left shoulder too.
Elvis.
So if Elvis said "fuck you, bitch," that's Tim Anderson, because he's like a parrot on his fucking.
It was Tim Anderson. We don't have to. It was Tim.
No, TA. You can see, especially right before he leaves.
I want to pull this over.
He said something about his mother.
Yeah, and he said "soft" like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Here it is. Ready?
It looked like a fucking Charmin commercial.
He's pissed. I want to go back. I want to go to the thing where he because he still has he gotten run yet? No.
Yeah,
Has he
he's
run?
already, no, he got
He's
ran.
He got ran. He's
Yeah, he's
walking
grabbing
out.
his shit, and he keeps saying you're motherfucking soft.
I love it.
That's 2.
Which, by the way,
And he points right at Webb. You're soft.
Points at him too.
Which, by the way, it's not on the picture to be like, all right.
No, you can't
Yeah.
vote Webb there.
Yeah,
I would
you
vote
can't.
there too. I'm
I
like,
don't know
batting
why
champs
Jason
up. Fuck
Manson-
that. I'm
No,
taking
here,
mad
Fitz,
at
leave
the
it there though.
picture.
I want to just how bad strike 3 was on this.
Oh, here it
Oh,
comes.
no,
right
it was
here.
brutal. This up was.
Oh, wait,
this
watch
up-
strike 2. Look at him, strike
Terrible.
2.
This
Look at
helped.
Sexton.
Yeah, he was trying to help the parlay for Zoe. Yeah, that's bad.
Two's not a strike.
Yeah, so you should be
Be a
happy with
2-1 count.
Rayburn.
2-1 count in a 2-1 game,
TA was trying to mess up your parlay.
Yeah,
and then you
There
get
you
strike 3, which is even worse.
dude.
Oh, that's
Oh,
good
that was
framing.
so
Look
bad.
at that frame
Dude,
job.
that wasn't even
bad.
close.
That was
Look
even
at that
brutal.
frame job.
Look at the picture too, like yelling at
That's
that guy.
what
Like, he
TA
just
must have been
bailed
saying.
out.
That's when TA started yelling at him
TA was
right away.
Get
Look
a
at this.
legit strikeout, motherfucker.
Jesus, not even close. A sinker up in the zone too, buddy. Yeah, there we go. See, look, they're both yelling. Come on, like, see,
Elvis is like trying to be
Elvis
like,
like, come
PC about
on.
it, though, where
Wait.
TA
If
Elvis
you go
just
back
looked
10
like-
seconds, Elvis just looked at TA like, oh shit. Like,
Oh,
He's like,
come
oh,
on,
you're
TA
actually
loses
really
it.
mad. Cubs fan, shout out.
yep.
oh,
Oh,
Oh yeah.
He
Brand
said you're
Webb's out.
he doesn't want that smoke.
No.
That's a man that's like,
No, I love that. I love that Giants picture in the Banshees of Inisherin.
I was gonna say Logan Webb,
I
and
got
Andrew
it.
Vaughn can star in the movie from like
someone
1920s.
someone
Middle
tweeted
America.
out a picture of Logan Webb at like the beach, and he looks like a bag of milk. So he's not trying to fight fucking Tim Anderson. That would be a massacre. But let's switch gears, go back to the Cubs because I see it in the comments here. People want to talk bullpen,
We will get to you, Lloyd.
and both sides of town aren't having a really great bullpen. Right now, we got someone say, call up Ben Brown. Service time is in the way. I don't know how you guys feel about that. And then
Yeah, Logan Webb does look like that.
so
You better have the money here, see?
I don't know. What are you guys vibing with the Cubs bullpen?
Well, the like I mentioned earlier with the overreaction with the David Ross and the decision, like there's two guys, Jeremiah Estrada, who came up last year for a bit. He's going to get called back up eventually. He's good. Throws like 96, 97 plus, can touch 100. He's going to get called up. Cam Sanders, who I think his dad played for the Cubs. Kevin, do you remember? Sanders?
Like
Sanders?
Scott
for the Cubs?
Sanders?
Scott
No,
Sanders. I think Scott Sanders is his dad.
Scott Sanders. Sanders. What's his name?
Well, it's Cam Sanders for the Cubs. He's going to come up this year. Probably he was nasty. Another guy they got an LSU reliever. They tried him out as a starting pitcher, but he's back to relieving. He's been nasty. So those are the two main guys. Ben Brown, I think he's probably like a year away still. We saw a little bit of him during spring training.
Scott Sanders. I was right. Oh shit.
Yeah, Scott Sanders. Yeah, Cam Sanders' son. Yeah, he's probably going to make
Scott
his debut.
Sanders
this year
sounds
with
like
the
a
Cubs.
guy that it was the dad on like a 90s sitcom.
Yeah. Played by Alan Thicke.
Yes.
I thought because the Cubs also had Scott Sanderson in the 1984.
So they're the two main guys that I think. And then, we're talking about the lefties, Brandon Hughes. He's ramping back up down in extended spring training. I hope he's back because he was one of their better relievers last year. And again, he's probably their only solid, dependable left-handed option right now. Hopefully he's back before the end of April. Those are really the three main guys that I'm looking at that are going to come up. But yeah, I mean, like Michael Rucker, like, okay, he's been a long time at the Cubs. I think he was drafted by the Cubs, worked his way. He's been on the 40-man roster. The Cubs like his stuff. The overall numbers haven't been that good, but last year, I think after he was called up after July, he had like a 2.5 ERA, something like that. Julian Merriweather, I mean, I'm going to say it, probably tricked by the spring training magic. But that's a guy who needs to have. I talk about all the time how Eric Hosmer. I want the Cubs to have a short leash on Eric Hosmer. It goes with some of these pitchers too.
Mm-hmm.
Like Julian Merriweather, he needs to have a short leash because he doesn't have a track record of success. Like he can't be out there for 3 months being terrible.
He's got the last name from somebody that was part of the Fellowship of the Ring, for God's sakes.
And then like the other guy who like barely got on the roster, and the only reason was because he's good against lefties, is Mark Leiter Jr. Like those are a couple guys who, I was mentioning earlier, 50-50 shot that they're even still in the bullpen by the summer.
Yeah.
And by the way, a lefty, Kevin. You called it back at the beginning of March. Maybe it ends up being Drew Smiley that goes to the bullpen.
Perhaps it is.
Do you guys think that's on the table for Smiley? Like they would actually do that?
It would have been closer to be on the table if Cape Killian hadn't gotten lit in his first start at AAA as well.
I think it's more dependent on Kyle Hendricks coming back.
That too. That's all. He's sitting there in the wing. He's like that meat lover's pizza in the trunk. But Kyle Hendricks hasn't been great over the last couple of years either. That's
we just lost Mitch.
Mitch didn't want to hear about the Cubs bullpen anymore.
When we've talked about it before on the show too, Aldo, in the past, that your bullpen when you open the season will not even remotely be close to the same exact bullpen that you see towards the end of the season. It's just it's and that's what makes it such a hard life. And Chasen's told us that on the show a few times. Shreve, who's with the Tigers, is that he was with the Cardinals, he was with the Mets, with the Yankees, he's with the Pirates. That as a reliever, you're one or two bad consecutive outings from DFA Central. I mean, and so for these guys, it happens so fast. The turnover's so quick, and you get a guy with dead arm. They don't have time to wait on you. You're getting paid league minimum. Fuck off, get out. Next guy up. And they bring these guys and they move these guys around quite a bit. And so, the Cubs bullpen wasn't built from the start to be a successful bullpen. It'll eventually, hopefully, get better based on some moves, but it does show again how serious were the Cubs about winning in 2023 if you built a bullpen that was knowingly not, you prefer to deal in exclamation points, not question marks. I guess I'll put it that way.
Because, the Sox are sitting in the same situation. Mitch brought up Jake Diekman earlier. Jake Diekman in a high leverage situation, very bad. Jake Diekman, when you're up 7-1 against the Giants, very good.
He can be the new Jose Ruiz, who's no longer good in the low leverage situations, which is what he used to excel at.
Mm-hmm. The other thing, I've already seen a couple people say, like, fire Jose Ruiz into the sun. Dude, did you guys watch the World Baseball Classic?
His one great inning for Venezuela.
Yeah, you tell him, Mitch.
I just need one. I just need one.
That was totally
All
cool.
I need is from Jose is one.
Look at that was.
I just need one. All I need from Jose is one inning. I'm not trying to 3-inning save or nothing like that. Just go out there. He worked the changeup. It was looking good. But
in one inning, though, in that World Baseball Classic, for like an entire career of evidence.
Yeah, Mitch, 2 innings.
Yeah, 2 innings, bud.
All right. Well,
but
I'm with you, Mitch.
That Mike Trout
especially
strikeout is what's gonna save his ass the rest of the season. He's gonna be pitching like dog shit with like a 4.60 ERA, and they'll be like, yeah, but that Mike Trout strikeout though. I think he can stay.
That's another big thing about the Cubs bullpen too, is they have Javier Assad in there, who's starting pitcher who's in the bullpen, and that's a guy who last year when he came up, he had a great season in the minor leagues, like a sub-3 ERA, was doing great, a lot of weak contact, but that's a guy who had a below average strikeout rate and walked a lot of guys, so he got pretty lucky that his overall numbers were as good as they were. Now, in the World Baseball Classic, he was throwing 97. He was throwing it past everyone in that game against the United States. Looked great against Japan. I think it was Japan. Or no, Puerto Rico. It was Puerto Rico in the quarterfinals. But the situation that happened on Saturday was like, okay, you pitch him for 1 inning, looks great, shut down, got a couple strikeouts. And then Ross brought him out for a 2nd inning. And this guy has had trouble with walks and just losing the strike zone. And what does he do? Gives up like a walk and a single, and then a walk, and then I think it was a leadoff single, and the guy's trying to bunt, and Assad just can't throw a strike. And then bam, it's too late. You already got another jam. You get into an even bigger trouble. And it's like, well, how are they going to handle Assad now? Because you do want to take advantage of a guy can go 2 to 3 innings. However, if he walks too many guys, you're gonna get into a lot of trouble consistently. Like Keegan Thompson, I trust Keegan Thompson all the time. Yeah, that dude's been lights out as a reliever.
This is how you know your bullpen's bad if you're a Sox fan. Missy says Diekman's the league's favorite person she has on the team, and all he's done is look like Zoe and pitch bad. We still have Mike Clevenger on the roster, and Diekman is now the lowest
that first thing is punishable enough, but I just don't. There's like 3 guys I trust right now. Now the White Sox are going to get Crochet back, which Fizz's guy has told us he's actually fucking throwing lightning bolts.
I'm so excited for
Crochet. And they need a lefty because right now they got Diekman and Bummer. Bummer does look good.
Like oxygen.
Bummer looks better. I feel like old Bummer's showing up right now. He's spotting his pitches a lot better. He got a little bit squeezed in his first appearance this year, but I'm very optimistic about Aaron Bummer this year.
This stuff is filthy. It's always injuries with him, and then sometimes he gets in trouble with the wall.
Yeah, but Diekman sucks. You guys know I don't trust.
Rank your shit list as your White Sox bullpen shit list
because of Joe Kelly.
From like highest on the shit list to like I trust you.
Yeah, go with like who you don't trust. Like
who don't you trust at all right now?
Joe Kelly, Graveman. No, Joe Kelly.
Ruiz?
Joe Kelly, Diekman, Ruiz, Graveman. That new kid looked pretty good. What's his name?
Santos.
Yeah, I like that. I like what I was with him.
He can throw.
So I'll go Santos just because he's a kid.
What about Jimmy Lambert? You trust him?
Jimmy
Lambert. Just because I found out that he comes out to nuck if you buck, which by the way, Jimmy still has not earned that with me yet. I do not appreciate Jimmy doing that without my permission.
Dude has 4 appearances, no runs, 1 hit. Like that's
Jimmy's
awesome.
fine.
Jimmy Lambert, he's the new Jose Ruiz.
And then
but good. Dallas Keuchel never.
How are his changeups
best
though?
Up in camp one year, so Dallas Keuchel approved Jimmy Lambert before the 2019 season.
And I know everybody was crying about it, but I think there's a lot of things you can be hopeful for with Raylo.
Oh yeah, that was a huge strikeout Wednesday.
I'm loving what I'm seeing with Raylo, with just the movement on the pitches, the velocity, the accuracy that'll come. But I love what I saw with Raylo. Now, Ian, I know you're in the comments right now. For those of you that don't know, we're gonna have him on the show soon. But Ian knows all about White Sox farm system. He's very plugged in down there. Ian, is there any kid that could be coming up for this bullpen? Because I like that Oscar kid.
And how are Rami Gonzalez dental records? I know he had teeth problems last year, preventing him from hitting.
Although we have some minor league stuff to talk to, by the way, Cubs related. Just happened today. We'll talk about
all the Cubs.
The Iowa Cubs
rained out.
No, not the Iowa Cubs. We're not going to take that L.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for Ian to give me a name for a relief pitcher that can come up, what's going down in the Cubs
minor
farm?
league news?
So today, because of your boy Gunnar Henderson graduating to Major League ball player, Cubs 2022 first rounder Cade Horton entered the MLB top 100 prospect list, making it now 4 Cubs in the top 100. Caleb. Wait, I'm sorry.
Cade
Horton. Horton. Sorry.
Is it Horton or Norton?
Horton.
Did I catch an M in there? Is it Pam
Horton.
or Pam?
Like Horton, here's a Horton. But I will call him Norton. But he's going to be called Norton a lot by Chicago fans because they'll just say his name wrong.
And we do have an official report from our sideline reporter who ranks if players are hot or not. Jimmy Lambert, that ain't it. Sorry, buddy. That's official.
Sorry, Jimmy, you're mid.
Yep. Sorry.
You're a mid reliever.
That sounds like he's way below mid.
Yep.
See what even mid.
That sounds like
low.
Yeah,
down.
That sounds ugly. So,
that sounds like Jimmy's down bad.
Yeah, Jimmy down bad. Jimmy down bad. I'm still mad that he comes out to Nuck If You Buck because that song is sacred and he's fucking up. But go ahead.
So for Cub fans to know now, Pete Crow Armstrong ranked 27th. Kevin Alcantara, who's like one of my I stand that dude a big time.
I've heard that guy's name for 12 years.
No, you haven't. No,
I know, but it feels like it.
It 20 years old.
It feels like I've heard his name.
He's a dead horse.
You were there in the hospital room when he was delivered.
I probably was.
Yep. So Kevin Alcantara is 86, and Cubs prospect Brendan Davis. Brendan Davis, it's true, and gamblers. The Brendan Davis, who has been like the Cubs' like pride and joy prospect, is actually 3rd behind Alcantara at 91, and then Cade Horton sitting there, who hasn't pitched a single professional inning yet. By the way, starts here in a couple about a week or so. Yeah, he pops in at 100 just on rumor alone. So
that's solid. Now,
just the name alone, Horton. That's
Horton here's a who,
There's
baby.
something there.
Horton here. We got to come up with an idea there. Horton here's a
Horton
what?
here's a K. Horton here's a whiff.
I don't know. Horton here's a K just sounds racist. So let's go something else. But Ian, for the White Sox,
Horton K's a foo. Sorry, no, never mind.
Lane Ramsey will come up if Declan Cronin can settle his brain.
Lane Ramsey.
Both of their sinkers are deadly. They both trained at Tread's pitch lab. I'm in. Sold.
I have to go with Ramsey on the name alone. Lane Ramsey.
Now I agree with Baloney in the comments here. Bring back Bennett Sosa just so we can hear Love Sosa again, because that was I don't think
you want that.
Lenine fits better than Bennett if we're gonna do Love Sosa,
and that's fine. But I won't get over Nuck if you buck for Jimmy Lambert.
I think it's pretty bad when the Cincinnati Reds DFA you.
Not for a guy named Jimmy Lambert that looks like toast. He looks like a piece of toast.
Hey, you know what?
Bad.
He's putting up scoreless innings. He can come out to whatever he wants.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. I'll give you that.
It's a little bit. It's not tan season yet. He hasn't won the pool yet.
No,
give him some time.
Coming out of the bullpen.
It looks like
you should do a video to that as Jimmy Lambert for next year's.
That's a terrible idea. I'll be out in the first round.
Hey, that's what you said about. That's what you said about the duet.
That's true.
Yeah. Banger. You got to trust us.
The record show.
Yes.
Somebody was.
And then at the end, Jimmy Lambert makes a cameo appearance.
Somebody thought
that could be good. I feel like he has a lot of free time in the offseason.
But the biggest thing that gives me hope about this bullpen, a couple things. I like what Bummer looks like. I like what Raylo's got going on, and then the fact that Garrett Crochet is coming back in May, and that Liam Hendricks rang that bell, dude. That was awesome. I know we've already talked about it.
But he's going to be back in May too.
They said they're going to have to literally tell him no because he wants to get back right away, and
he'd be throwing right now if he could.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be huge. Well, I mean, let's be realistic. We don't know what Liam's going to be when he comes back, but I got a feeling
he's always rough beginning of the year too. So.
And I think it's going to be a similar thing to Lanston last year. These guys didn't get a spring training. That's going to maybe not be that great right off the bat, but once they get back in their groove.
And I'm confident.
Here's my question about his treatment too. I don't know. And has he talked much about it? I haven't seen him speak much about it, but through his treatment, it's not like he was completely incapacitated. I mean, you can kind of throw. If you're feeling if you feel good, yeah. So he's not I haven't picked up a baseball since I was diagnosed.
Did you see what he looked like when he rang the bell? He's jacked, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The ramp up's going to take some time because you want to be safe with him, and you want his endurance to be strong because his bounce back because he has in essence put some poison into his body and that's got to flush out. That's going to take some time, but at the same time, you're also getting a guy that is in full on Rocky Balboa mode at this point, man. When someone comes back from this type of diagnosis and they ring that bell, forget it. These guys, these are special. These types of things lead to special performances. Look at John Lester. I'll use Cubs examples, Lester and Rizzo, just in general, those two guys. But anytime you see, hear or see something like that, these guys, there's something that comes back that has that extra dog in you because you know what? Sometimes they take the game for granted. They take everything for granted, whether it's just having air in their lungs or a ball in their hand. And now they're coming back and I told myself if I was able to come back to this game, I'm not fucking letting up. And that's what you're going to get with a guy like him. And he already is there as a human. That's his passion. So
Speaking of entrance music though, Liam Hendricks, underrated. That Rage Against the Machine, Queen remix he's got going when they do the lights and everything. I mean, come on. It gets me fired.
I can't wait for the first night game on the south side because last year they started. Was it last year or 2 years ago when they started flashing the lights during the fireworks?
2 years ago, yeah. And the first time you saw that, it was whoa, this is. And now all these teams are trying to replicate it. The Red Sox are trying to knock it off.
They've had it here in Vegas for 5-6 years, so it's been around. It's been a triple. It's the new LED lights that you don't have to turn on, so you can just turn them on and off. They're pretty awesome.
Don't be Buzz Killington over
Sorry.
Don't be Buzz Killington over there, bud.
The White Sox didn't start that. I didn't start that, but
I
they
didn't say
were.
they started it. I just said it was dope.
They
So
always
they
knock
do
off
do
the
it.
stuff. No, the White Sox will always steal ideas. Like, remember they had the Chris Sale, like, K-Zone? Like, that was completely knocked off from King Felix in Seattle.
Kids have
like,
been
that's what they
flickering
always
lights
do.
on and off since, like, the dawn of light switches.
You're not stealing. You're just simply you're joining the trend. That's all. And it's an awesome
After
trend.
die and make it
Awesome
cool.
trend. You know
the
what?
Bush,
you know what
the
stadium
bushes
can't
in
do
center
that?
field copied Wrigley. The green
I
seats.
I don't think Wrigley. I don't think Wrigley has the lights to do that, do they? They don't have those. They have to install some of those. I mean, God, you get like a fish show out at Wrigley, and you can really fuck with some people. But I love that. I love that they're getting
Speaking
excited.
of crazy light shows, did you see the Dodgers trying to like run a rave between guys' warm-ups on opening day?
I did not.
The umpires literally stopped because like I think it was literally like between innings when like a pitcher was doing his warm-up pitches and like they were doing the flashing lights and like turning off the stadium lights almost and like bringing in their flashing lights, and the umpire's like, you guys need to knock that shit off. Like this guy has to warm up. He can't see the catcher.
All right, well, it looks like the Dodgers are doing it now this year too. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, I think that's exactly
Everyone's
what.
doing it.
This is a
Done.
By the way-
Simpsons did it.
By the way, Trace Thompson is just raking again this year.
All the former Chicago outfielders, Jason Hayward.
He had the 1-3 home run game. He's not really raking.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like that happens all the time. He had 1-3 homer
Seb
game.
did it first. It's
happens
not
all
cool
the
anymore.
time.
Seb already did it. It's not cool.
But here, watch.
Speaking of already did it.
Piss missile.
God.
This is a grand slam.
No, it's not.
Remember, everybody be cool
Just
about
grand
us
slam on the
doing
screen though,
highlights.
Aldo.
But here you go. Ready?
That was a mistake. It's a 3-run homer, but they put grand slam on the screen. Did you see that?
Yep.
That's what you were reading. It wasn't a grand slam, Aldo.
It's that grand slam.
But no, look at the screen. It said
Wow.
grand slam on the
Yep.
on the ticker.
But they got the lights going a little bit.
Dodger Stadium's a fun place to see a game.
It's just a pain.
Fucking
in the ass
hell
to get
getting
in and
out.
out of.
It
What's
is.
worse, getting out of the Sox game or
No, not even nothing. Not even close. Like Dodger Stadium, you might
getting
as well in your
into
car
a
for-
Sox game or getting out of a Dodgers?
Day games are not that bad for the Dodgers. I went to a Sunday one there, wasn't that bad. It was weird. Like the Wednesday night game though was a lot worse than the weekend one. It is a disaster getting out on the Wednesday. Like
I've seen enough games there to like I hate it. Like I hate it. You know what you do? You go get some Philippe's right down the road. Then you come on up, which is they're like the original French dip, by the way, if you didn't know. And then you come up and you get there. You got to get there before like batting practice. Like you go out there, hit around the tailgate time, and you'll be fine. Security getting in. If you wait until you get again, because everybody in LA they show up like at around like if it's a 7:05 first pitch, they're showing up like 7:10. So it's and that's another reason why it's not they're just getting there late. They're stuck in the traffic getting in, but getting out.
It's so bad.
It's horrible. It's
so
horrible. Talk radio and a good playlist is the only way to survive. If you're not driving and you're the passenger,
I'll just listen to Pinwheels and Ivy while you're
drink a lot of beer.
We
a
still
lot of
haven't
beer.
talked about Eloy yet. Is there any Cub stuff?
I was gonna say it. Last injury update: Seiya Suzuki, oblique, out since the 25th of February.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing in extended spring training games in Arizona, but probably gonna go on a rehab assignment on Friday. So he could be back in a week, 10
He
days.
can still hit the over for the homers projection.
He could, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, so Eloy got hurt running from first to third, apparently.
Oh wait, wrong one.
Grass is green, water is wet, the sky
Eloy
is
is hurt.
blue. Eloy is hurt. I mean, what do you so
Only 2 weeks?
it's and I mean
It's retroactive to the 4th. Well, that's yesterday. Never mind. God dang it. Sorry.
we talked about this in our group chat during the day. You would hope that him getting hurt, having not played one pitch in the field, would show him like, brah, you shouldn't play the field. You gotta be a DH.
At this
won't.
point, they have an excuse.
I was gonna ask you guys, and I guess I could have tweeted at him, but I saw Josh Nelson tweet out something interesting after the injury was announced. That paraphrasing here, how maybe Eloy doesn't take the pregame warm-ups as serious as other guys.
Well,
I don't know if that was
okay, so that's what I was-
speculation, him, or if that's what he's been told.
It's interesting, and that's what was so discouraging about this injury. Kind of like going off that. Not to say that he doesn't work hard, but if you were to line up everyone on the White Sox and say, like, which guy do you think works the hardest in the offseason, Eloy probably wouldn't be on that list.
He lost a lot of weight, though.
Injuries, and I almost equated it to Anthony Davis because the reports like he ate like shit during the offseason, didn't work out, and lo and behold, he gets hurt all the time for the Lakers. It's like Eloy kind of felt like that. It's like, yeah, well, maybe he's not taking care of himself. He gets hurt. But then you see him coming into spring training this year. Baby fat gone, looks like he's in the best shape of his life. It's like, okay, I'm confident he can stay healthy, and then you get an injury not even 10
an injury
games.
that would be avoided if he stretched properly.
And now it's kind of just reaffirming what we all knew. Like and someone put it in the chat earlier, you can't rely on Eloy. Every time he's in the lineup, it's a luxury at this point. And that's why, honestly, I don't even think, I mean, it sucks not having him because I think if he could be healthy, he's like a 40-plus home run guy, but it's not that big of a loss because we've been playing without Eloy in the lineup for the majority of his tenure on the White Sox. And we got a guy like Jake Berger who basically does the same thing at a much lower level, but DH that can hit. Not as well as Eloy, but he can. So I think he can survive losing Eloy because they've been functioning without him ever since he's been in the White Sox. So it's not an end-all, be-all. It would be a bigger loss right now if we lost y'all. Or a little
They're still talking about girls and shit in the chat.
Ian,
it has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But
Ian, I'm just
keep going. But
real quick, just my buddy Michael was at that same show in Columbus at Villa Rosa. Sorry, he literally talked about it like last week, and I'm like, oh, that's a cool story, bro. Same story. I was like, holy shit. Sorry, I saw them in the chat talking about a concert at the end of the.
Somebody said that they think Eloy is like on Instagram or like something live during when the team is stretching, and like they need to take his phone away or social media away from him for a little bit. It's something weird, dude. Because
so how do you guys feel about it? Because like Eloy Jimenez ever since he's been at the Sox, lovable guy. He's outgoing. Fans love him for the most part. The injuries, they obviously get annoying. Like, stop being dumb, whatever. But now that it's just a thing. Eloy Jimenez, he's hurt. Like, yeah. Like, what's new? Are you guys mad about it? Are you just like,
it's annoying?
Whatever, it's expected. Are you frustrated?
It's annoying.
Or it's like whatever.
It's like what's those? Yeah, it's annoying. Like 2 years, like when he tore his like pec in spring training, it's like, well, there goes like the season type thing. Now we're just so used to it. It's like, really, like again, but like we're so used to him being injured. It's not even like you almost expect it. Like coming into the year, most people, if you had an over under like 100 games played, I would bet the majority of the public is hammering the under on that.
What's annoying about it is the fact that it's usually like dumb shit, but like dumb shit because he's goofy. Like going up to try to rob that home run and tearing his pec, or skipping stretching so he can be on Instagram and he hurts his whatever running from first to third. Like that's just like him being himself, being this goofy guy, and I don't want him to stop doing that, but he needs to have a little bit more discipline.
And I'm by no means comparing these two, but the same kind of stuff was said about Bryce Harper when he was young in his career early on too. Yeah. And he's still getting he's hurt right now again, so I guess it really kind of kills that argument for a second. But the fact is, some of these guys don't know how to be pros yet. I know it sounds, I don't think this is the case necessarily, but one has to wonder how much is he taking care of his body when he's done working, when he is at home, there are things that some of these guys they're 24 hours a day. They don't stop. It's crazy. But I'm not saying that he's just being lazy or anything, but I'm saying like, how much is a young guy, because again, when you're younger, you're kind of like, fuck it. I can eat this today. I can do this today. It's no big deal because I'm younger and it's going to digest and yada, yada. And, we're old now. We eat like a pizza and we feel it for like 7 fucking days. It's brutal. And so I'm just thinking like perhaps there's some things that he's not doing that he's been relying on just God gift health. And now he's kind of, again, he pushes it. He is goofy and you want the guy to have fun and play like a kid.
To this point, go ahead, Mitch.
Well, okay, like that's kind of where I was getting at too. Like early with like the Anthony Davis comparison, like it's almost like you wonder what he's doing in the offseason. But then you see him this year coming in motivated, like I want to play the outfield. So he looked faster. He came in like slimmed down. It's like, okay, like it looks like he actually is taking care of himself. I'm going to drink the Kool-Aid and say, fingers crossed, I think he can be healthy. And then he still gets hurt. And it's like,
So Bologna says in the chat that either the training staff or Eloy need to be held accountable. And I think it's Eloy. And I also think that this is a good coaching staff to do it. I think I would be worried about Tony La Russa kind of being too strict and like causing a rift between the two. I feel like Pedro will be able to like sit down with him and give him like almost like a dad talk. Like, yo, man, like, we need you to be a little bit more serious around here. Like, you're too good of an athlete to be pissing it away by missing 2 weeks every other month. Like, it's go time, bro. You're never gonna get this time back in your life. Like, you need to fucking figure it out.
TRL, like, listen, Andrew, Eloy got hurt, so if you hit a routine grounder, dog it to first. You're gonna be on the list of guys.
I guess my question about that though is like Eloy has a history of like these hamstring injuries, and if the question or if there is already speculation about like maybe he's not doing enough to get prepared, whether it's pregame warm-ups or just on off days, whatever, why wasn't this conversation already had?
Right.
Well, get that guy a yoga instructor for his house and just be like, downward dog.
And we all saw that he put the work in this. I mean, he looks like his fucking uniform doesn't fit him because he lost so much weight and he's just jacked now. But
jack doesn't mean healthy. Like as far as the small tendons and the little tiny little soft.
Like you just said, the yoga, it's the stretching. Like, okay, you built this temple, now you got to take care of it and you got to make sure that shit like this doesn't happen. So I don't know. They got to figure something out with him. And I was very optimistic with how it was going. He was hitting some nice doubles in Houston. Like, things were going really well. And then this kind of did come out of nowhere too. Like, it was just like you woke up on Wednesday and you're just like, huh. Fuck.
How do you get hurt on your off
day? Yeah.
I gotta
how do you get fired on your day off, Craig?
I noticed from our fantasy league that my starting outfielder was injured. So that's
I mean,
I agree with Ian. Dylan Cease got to get Eloy with his yoga instructor.
Yeah.
Get him on that program.
Yeah, I mean, and
vitamin B.
Start carpooling to the yoga studio.
Stefan's point in the chat too, like, I don't think it's an overreaction because this isn't the first time he's been hurt, but maybe it's a blessing in disguise that this happened this early in the year because it could be a reality check for him where they're like, see, asshole, you're going to hurt yourself. Like, listen to what we're telling you. Like, we're not fucking around here.
No right feel for you.
And the White Sox did hire like a brand new like training staff, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah, and they brought in a new strength and conditioning guy.
Yeah, like just brand new, like a whole bunch of different guys on the staff.
Departments. Yeah.
That's hard. That's a rough start to your training teams start too. Is when one of the central guys get hurt like that. You're like,
I mean, yeah, I don't think we're overreacting because it's not the first time, but I also think that you do have a point there where this could be a blessing in disguise in the long. If you look at the forest past the trees a little bit.
Does this make it kind of like almost terrifying to like ever get too excited about Eloy? Unfortunately, like you're like constantly going, okay,
no,
here he goes, he's hot, I'm afraid, but he's gonna hurt me again sooner.
I think more fans are thinking with Mitch, though.
It's a very abusive relationship with Eloy. It's keep coming back, and it's not gonna end well.
I think they're definitely
like, again.
I think there are definitely a lot more White Sox fans who I forget who said it in the comments, and then Mitch brought it up too, who are like, hey, you can't really rely on Eloy anymore.
Yeah, and I think that's just like an undertone with him. Like when he's hitting good, like the series in Houston, like you're pumped. You're like, fuck yeah, but you also get this feeling inside where it like kind of like pulls you back, and you're just like, well, you can't really get too pumped because you don't know when it's going to be over right away. Like,
you're telling all your friends,
like you wake up
guys, he's changed, and deep down, what the end results.
Next thing you know, you wake up on a Wednesday and he's out for 2 weeks with a pulled hammy.
Yeah.
And,
and this stresses why Rick Hahn has to build his roster with that always in mind. So you have to be pulling for, bringing in guys that might be usually on a semi-good team, guys that will play 140 games this season. Yeah, so you've got right. There's
Andrew Vaughn back and right.
God dang it, not for that. No, please. But that's what sucks too. Is you build your roster with that, but it doesn't seem like they were super concerned with it. Like, how does this become like a train that hits you in the side of the head?
That's funny shit.
That's really funny.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been patiently waiting for this all day.
It's working.
I think it's time for the NASCAR Minute with regional champion NASCAR Mitch. Rip
All
it.
right, we were at Richmond, a little short track action, a lot of bumping and banging with these cars here. So first, we'll go a little bit before like the race. There's some big news. Hendrick Motorsports, Chase Elliott's team, Pretty Boy, Jeff Gordon's one of the co-owners. They're like the darlings of NASCAR. They got popped for cheating. So they got a big fine, and they took away a bunch of playoff points. So they had an appeal earlier, and the committee that did the appeals is like outside of NASCAR. They bring in these outside people. They're like, yeah, we acknowledge you cheated. Like you had different louvers on the cars, but we're going to give you your points back anyway. So everyone's like, what the fuck? So they got popped, and the other team was like this team called Colleague Racing. And Colleague Racing's only in their second year. They're brand new. They only had one louver that was like deemed incorrect, unlike Hendrick. So Colin goes in, and like this is a small like team. Like they won an Xfinity race. Their owner was like took off his shirt, was like waving it around like a jackass. Like, you know, they're the people's champ. They go in, and NASCAR's like the appeals panel's like, yeah, we're not giving you your points back. You cheated. Fines like upstanding. Everyone's like, what the hell? So a lot of drama going on there. But then to the race itself. This was Denny Hamlin's home track. Michael Jordan, who's the co-owner of the team with him, he was there. The GOAT himself is on the pit box. Denny's like on the radio beforehand with his crew chief because Toyota's had a lot of slow cars. That's why you don't buy a Toyota. Terrible manufacturer. But anyway, he's like, yeah, you know, I'm going to have to carry the team here today, boys. And like his crew chief's like, dude, like, how do you know we didn't give you a good car? He's like, well, because I've been driving the Toyotas all year. And the crew chief's like, good grief, man. It turned out he did have a fast car. But Denny Hamlin, he gets a speeding penalty early, so he has to go to the back of the field with all the scrubs. One of those scrubs is J.J. Yaley, who's just minding his own business. Denny rear ends him, rams him out of the way. So now J.J.'s like, what the hell, man? Denny's just bullying people in the back. He drives to the front, though, because he's got a fast car. He's like, all right, we're doing good. Win stage 2. Then he gets another speeding penalty. So back to the pack. Michael Jordan's sitting there like, what the hell? One of Michael Jordan's other drivers, Bubba Wallace, he had his team got a penalty because the analytics guy was catching the tires as they rolled them back, and you can only have so many guys over the pit wall. Well, they rolled one to him a bit too far, was out of reach, so he went to reach for it. He fell over the pit box, and they had too many guys there, and Jordan's sitting up there like, what the fuck? He's about ready to fire some people. He looked pissed, exited on his private jet before the race lap. Anyway, 30 laps to go. Now it's getting serious. Hendrick and their cheating louvers, they're up front, right? They got 2 cars up there. So Ross Chastain, he doesn't give a fuck to her. The restart starts. He goes 3 wide, down low. And then Chris Bell, he's in the middle. He's like, oh, no, Ross is here. I'm scared. So he goes high. He hits one of the Hendrick cars, spins out of the way. He gets hit. Caution comes out. Everyone's like, oh, damn. So now it's getting to the nitty gritty because there's only like 15 laps left. And this is like kind of a war of attrition. So people need tires. One of the people that needed tires was Martin Truex Jr. He's up front. He's like, all right, boys, we can get new tires here. This is going to be good. So his crew chief's like, yeah, all right, about that. So they put on the new tires for Martin Truex. Everyone gets the new tires. And Truex starts driving after the restart. He's like, what the hell? Like, my tires are flat. They're not going good. Well, the problem was they ran out of tires throughout the race, so they had to give them scuffs. So they were used tires they put on there. They were just shit, and they didn't tell him that because they didn't want to piss him off. But anyway, back up front, it's Josh Berry, who's driving Chase Elliott's bitch-ass's car because Chase Elliott broke his leg snowboarding, so they still have a rookie in. And it just goes to show that Chase Elliott really has no talent. It's all the car because the rookie is up front, so he has a chance to win. He's next to Kyle Larson, one of the other cheating Hendrick cars. Well, Kyle Larson's a lot better. He drives away. He wins the race. That's the end of it. Martin Truex is pissed. He's heading back. He's like, guys, what the hell happened to my tires? The crew chief's like, yeah, we were out of new tires. We gave you scuffs. And he's like, why didn't you tell me we were fucked? And he's like, you would have been fucked anyway. We just didn't want to kill your morale. But that's the NASCAR win it. Kyle Larson wins. Hendrick cheated. They got their points back. There you go. That's it. There you have it.
This Padres pitch is shitting bricks right now. Why? Because Danny fucking Burgess is up and back. Guy just ordered Shake Shack straight to the dugout. This
If you're new to the NASCAR Minute, I don't like Chase Elliott because he's like the fan favorite every year. And like he does win a lot of races, but like he's boring. He has no personality. It's like a wet napkin. So I don't like that he's so popular. I'm jealous of Chase Elliott. So I'm a hater. I ain't going to lie. But I think it's valid because he's boring. And some rookie took his car and drove it up to second. So is he really that good? I don't know. You tell me.
System driver?
System driver.
Yeah,
System
exactly.
driver. He's the Tom Brady of NASCAR
He got
drivers.
his ride too because his dad, Bill Elliott, was really popular. So, nepotism. I like the working man's driver. That's why I'm a Daniel Suarez fan. He came from Mexico with nothing, didn't know any English. Now he's driving the 99 car for Trackhouse, baby. He also got fined though because he was bumping people on pit road. But we won't get into that. He's a good man.
My new favorite activity is trying to find pitchers to throw you off.
Don't worry.
You got Kevin.
You locked in.
I know.
The guy with the kid sitting on his pants didn't work. My Sox summer sleep, not going to phase me. Unlike Chase Elliott, I am not a system.
Wait, I have a question. Who is this?
What?
What are we looking at here?
I'll explain all pitchers. Go ahead.
See, there's one of them. I was like, wait.
I like the LeBron meme one. We just got to get the cigarette in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that one?
That's
Michael
Cera. Michael Cera. Yeah, I just randomly saw it with Aubrey Plaza. They're eating pizza. I just think he's fucking hilarious.
He's in what is the movie I just saw him? He's in Barbie. You know what? You know we didn't put up, and now
this had me dead. Dude. I was laughing my ass off like this.
I was trying to get this up in time, but I missed it.
Mitch with the light behind him.
Greatest song with the least highest quality resolution I've ever seen. It was fantastic.
That was part of the charm.
I was mad you couldn't see this quote because I was hoping this quote would throw you off.
It had that 1992 internet feel, which was dial-up.
Subtle genius of Mitch Kaminsky directing your music video.
This is a quote you should live your life by.
I didn't even notice that one.
Yeah.
So, by the way, did we talk about My Sox Summer's in-game snoozer? We call it because
did he really miss anything though? Is it really an overblown story?
He's just
no.
He's just such a diehard fan. He couldn't bear to watch the barrage of home runs hit by the Giants, so he closed his eyes, and White Sox Dave took advantage of it.
I thought he was texting.
That's what I'm saying.
He was just texting.
Could be both. Maybe
White Sox Dave, Chase Elliott fan. Well, no.
He's just trying to look under his T-shirt.
Oh boy,
that's a good. That's one awaiting though. Like that's a good.
Yeah, to me, my Sox he was just scrolling on his phone for like an hour.
Oh.
Yeah, that was it.
Who amongst us had not been? Yeah,
he's got eye lids spelled I and then lids like the letter I though.
Mitch, the return though to guaranteed rates coming on NASCAR night. Buy your tickets now. We're throwing a bag in the parking lot.
What night is it?
Donuts by myself.
What night is it?
I think it's June 23rd. I think it's a Friday. You can look it up. It's on their website. And if you get the VIP package like I did, you get the weekend pass for the NASCAR race. So we dropped like $300. Sox tickets, NASCAR. It's great.
Money bags, Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus.
Now we blew like half our rent check on it. I'm in poverty right now. I can't afford groceries, but
NASCAR night is Friday, June 23rd against the Boston Red Sox.
Sox.
Giddy up.
They're giving away a NASCAR cooler.
Damn right. And get the VIP package. You get the patio access and the weekend pass for the race. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
You're losing money if you don't take that deal.
Hold on. How much?
If I buy groceries.
Let's play. How much did Mitch drop on these? God damn, boy.
Like I said,
I guess that's a pretty good deal, though.
No, what you get for it, it's a good deal. Yeah, it's a good deal.
If you get you get patio access to White Sox, so that's free food and booze before the game.
Oh yeah.
Then tickets to the actual game, and then you get 2-day passes to the NASCAR street race,
which also includes Black Crowes concert and Miranda Lambert. If you're into her,
that's a win right there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know they had the concert too. All that for $287.
That's 300 with tax, but yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
all you got in tax. God,
yeah, that's pretty decent though.
Jesus,
oh, not bad at all.
$24.
I don't want tickets to the race because I'm not going.
You should.
Boo.
Hey, you
Come
should.
on, no, that's how you be paid. You have to watch a NASCAR race.
Yeah, that's how you
go to one of them.
Get out of the gate right there. That's perfect.
I'll give you a Kevin Harvick hat. You can have a 30 rack of Busch. You don't even have to watch the race.
Hold on.
I'll say this. Going to a NASCAR race is not the same as watching it on TV. Going to a NASCAR race is actually fun as hell. I've gone twice.
I've been at NASCAR races. I just never went inside.
You know, this
okay, well that doesn't count.
We can't back out of the bet.
Trying to welch on his back. He just doesn't want to hang out with me.
No, that'll happen. I'm just not gonna physically go to the race.
Should.
I definitely.
I'm surprised at you. Baby Zoe loves cars. He's a born racer, and you're depriving him of NASCAR.
Mitch, every time I go onto YouTube TV, you know how they have like your most go-to channels ready to go for you. Fuck, dude. Every time I'm on that screen now, he sees NASCAR and I'm like, no, dude, you little hick. No.
Baby Zoe can join my tailgate. I'll
But
juice boxes for him. I'll buy Modelo's in the other cooler. It'll be a good time.
He'll be shotgunning Capri Suns.
Some Capri Suns, yeah.
But just to get the patio package in the baseball
Mitch gets
game,
the
it's
Capri
$100.
Suns
That's not bad.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like too good of a deal. So
That's
now I have an excuse to come back.
That's pretty solid. I mean, the Red Sox are fucking cheeks this year, but
Well, they're awesome. Hoping for a dub.
Are you
Yeah.
guys excited to see O'Neal Cruz?
yes.
Overrated.
Oh.
Wait till he sees Michael Kopech not tipping
Oh.
pitches.
Oh,
No,
I'll clip that.
I really like. Yeah, you just fucked up, Mitch.
Ed.
I really like
Almost taking you down.
this new scheduling. It's a lot more fun. I think it's a lot more
Yeah,
fun.
you get to see everybody. A lot of like
Get more
Cubs are playing the
blackouts in Vegas.
Rangers.
More
Yeah.
blackouts for me here
Well,
in
I
Vegas.
mean, but you get Cubs, Rangers. Rangers are a fun team.
I got
Oh, I
162 minus 58.
I did pick my National League team official. I got to buy.
Whoa, who is-
fuck? Diamondbacks. Talk about a fun team. Holy fuck!
They got
That
cool
team-
uniforms. I'll give you that.
That team is fun though. Those guys, they're stealing bases at a super high. Who else is stealing? Oh, the Orioles.
All
I
of
think
Major League Baseball.
No. The Orioles have like 20 stolen bases already as a team. Like it's ridiculous. The Orioles are.
Did you
Yeah.
see that win against Boston? Or no, they lost that game where the guy dropped the pop up and left. It was giving me the Adam Angle vibe, like flashback.
Hey,
Yes.
It was 2 outs and he dropped the final out, and then Boston hit the walk off home run 2 batters later.
bad news though. Guess who is? Okay, you said Baltimore, right? They're first in stolen bases, but the Diamondbacks aren't first in stolen bases. Guess who
I know
is?
they're not. What, the Cubs?
The Twinkies.
Cleveland.
Oh, Cleveland, of course.
Well, yeah. I mean,
He has got his hands full.
that's not a surprise at all. That's
Yankees
Cleveland.
and the Pirates. Wow, that's shocking a little bit.
Yeah, but I'm trying to look. I'm trying to get the statistics because we're all about facts here. But here we go. Team stats. There we go.
Cubs are 24th in home runs.
Tampa Bay, some smart guys wild card pick, undefeated. Fact.
Stolen bases. Baltimore has 11. I thought it was 28. They have 11. Arizona has 2. Or Arizona's the second with 9. I thought you said they weren't, but yeah.
Oh, you're talking
But-
about the National League only? Because
No,
Cleveland
MLB.
Cleveland has 10 stolen bases.
Oh, well, ESPN update your shit because they have Cleveland at 8.
Cleveland has 10. It goes Baltimore with 11, Cleveland 10, Arizona 9, New York Yankees 9, Pirates 7.
Mm-hmm.
White Sox and Cubs bottom half of the league, both
Yeah,
in home
but
runs.
the Diamondbacks have a very fun team, very young, very fun team. I've always said Baltimore's got something cooking out there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Love that guy. That's fun.
yeah, Adley Rutschman, Gunnar, they got Arizona's got a hell of an outfield. Yeah, but I'm gonna go Arizona as my National League team this year. I gotta go ahead and get
Good.
that hat. I like their uniforms too.
You hit the head on the nail too. The talented outfield that was so talented that they could trade someone like Varsho and not even blink. Like that's how
is
talented their outfield was. Like
Varsho
Varsho
is-
was an outfielder too.
He's going nuts right now in Toronto. He's on my fantasy team, so I see it. But yeah,
I want to.
and the
Damn
tweet that people are referring to in the chat, and we'll end on this.
We were talking about this.
The Cleveland Guardians broadcast team just casually dropped this little fun little tidbit during a Jose Ramirez at bat. As a 13-year-old, Jose Ramirez played in a gambling league with adults to earn money for his family.
No big
In
deal.
certain circumstances, bettors would gamble on a player to have a positive outcome. If they
Hmm.
didn't come through, no big deal. They would just be chased home by gamblers with machetes and guns.
Hey,
They just said, and then there's like, and there's a 3-2 pitch, high and outside. Like they just
all caught.
no reaction.
Yeah.
Just kind of like, well, we're just gonna throw this.
It's a
in
real
there,
emotional story, Jim. The machete's there. He was fighting for his life
Yeah.
on that pitch.
Like,
Just a bit
man,
outside.
there's a 3-1 curveball that hung up there 81, and then Jose Ramirez draws a walk.
This is that's brought to you by Zoom
Yeah.
Zoom.
No, like all
No,
those
it's the
times.
DraftKings. That's probably speaking of betting. Jose Ramirez, yeah,
Yeah.
If you don't want to
all
get
about-
chased down,
but with an app
make
you
the
can
right
trust.
pick.
We promise. We'll just return your bet. We won't chase you down with a chainsaw.
Jesus.
Can you guys guess who has the 2 worst offenses in Major League Baseball according to WRC Plus?
The 2 worst
2 worst.
offenses.
The Royals are one.
correct, dead last. They have a
I know
WRC
they
plus.
didn't score for like their third game of the
They have
season.
a WRC plus of 43 as a team.
Oh my god!
The Pirates?
No, the Pirates are good this year.
The Pirates are
The
at the
first
bottom
week, I
10,
should
but they're
say.
not.
Yeah,
They're
they're
not
not
already
there
at the
yet.
bottom.
The Mets?
Oh, I'm not shocked. Wait, am I looking at the same thing?
The
The Mets?
Detroit Tigers are in 29th
Oh.
place. They're
The
at
Tigers,
50.
yeah. The
I
Tigers
have
are
so
close now.
I'm looking at Fangraphs. Fangraphs
I have
has
the splits leaderboard live updated.
because that's a combo of all of them.
Yeah, and then your Arizona Diamondbacks, though, they're 28th. They're
Good.
at 62.
People are sleeping on them.
And then the Colorado Rockies, who they won their first 2 games, but they're at 70.
It's weird that the Pirates are so low and they just swept Boston in Boston.
Damn, Fangraphs is nice. They don't have anybody below 81. Like what the hell?
The Cubs are right at the middle league average, 15th at 103. The White Sox, 9th
Oh.
at
Don't look at Fangraphs.
They're talking
114.
about rec leagues in the chat. Speaking of which, Aldo, shout out to you. Struck out 8, got the win,
That's
and
right.
drove in what ended up being the difference-making run in your
Yeah.
beer league.
4 to
softball
3,
community.
strike out 8, no big deal.
Some people are calling him the Otani of beer league.
That's
Yeah.
some people are saying.
Oh,
People are talking.
The shorter Otani.
And now
Can you
they're
retweet
talking
that
about
story?
Marquette Park in the chat. I played Marquette Country Club for 4 years in high school, baby. One of our golf matches got canceled because they found a floater in the water hazard.
It happens. Can we tell the story about that miscommunication in the chat today?
Oh no,
Yeah,
that's
go
what he's
for it.
saying.
No,
Yeah.
that was it.
I gotta know, so like, so I get the notification, and I hadn't seen the chats before, but the notification's from Aldo, and this is the exact text: struck out 8, got the win, and drove in what ended up being the difference-making run, and it has like the emoji with the sunglasses. And I was like, damn, Aldo, is that like beer league softball? And then I like scroll up, I'm like, oh shit, he was talking about Shohei Ohtani, but like the way it showed up, I thought Aldo had like a monster game.
Mhm.
Diet.
So- Yep. And then last but not least, the White Sox do have a rally cat. It's been found. It lives in center field. Very upset
saw
that
this,
no
I
one
saw
on White
this.
Sox Twitter has made a Twitter account for it yet, but I'm sure someone will soon.
What's the name? I saw
Also-
there was 2 options.
There's a lot of options though. People are throwing out a lot of names.
Don't matter. The best tradition on White Sox Twitter is go to Zoe's account after every win and watch the Rodney Dangerfield video.
Yep.
It never gets old. I saw it.
Shout out to Yumper for bringing that to my attention. But
good one.
yes, that is as soon as I saw it for the first time when Yumper tweeted, I was like, that's my White Sox winner video for
Never
this
gets
season.
old.
So hey, we do. Aldo and I do need to remind you, White Sox do have the immediately powerable lights that can turn on and off.
Mhm.
But does Guaranteed Rate Field have beer bats, which then turns into beer bat
Beer bat
snakes?
snakes.
No,
Yeah,
we
beer
just
bat snakes.
Well, they
We
have
just
urinals,
tailgate.
so that's a start.
Let's-
That's a trough.
you don't want to touch feet with someone else while you're.
yeah, we just tailgate and don't spend a mortgage payment on beer in bars before we go in.
Yeah.
But I digress. Do you guys have anything else?
Dansby Swanson, MVP.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Dansby Swanson's fucking on fire.
You're
dude.
welcome.
Top of the lineup right now.
We're overreacting. Yohan Moncada's an MVP. Dansby, let's not overreact here.
Actually, this is going to be
One,
another
three.
overreaction. You guys are Ian Happ is going to get like $125 million.
He's killing it right now.
Yeah.
I mean, can he keep it up? And will he drink?
It's pretty
someone get
awesome.
that
It's
and
pretty
pop?
awesome that Chicago has like 3 Cy Young winners and 5 MVPs in the city right now.
Got it locked down.
They're all going to be tied for
Yes, they're just gonna give them one trophy, and they just all get a month with it.
Cease and Clevenger, Cy Youngs, Hap, Swanson, and Horner, 3-way MVP.
Yep, and Moncada and Swanson,
American League, Moncada and Luis Robert.
and all of the
co-MVPs.
Gold Gloves are coming to Chicago too.
Yeah,
We got all of them.
Benny, you get a gold glove. You get a gold glove.
Yeah, just
You
everybody-
get-
All
everybody
the
gets
gold
all.
gloves.
So I'd say pretty successful first week.
That's
Yeah.
it.
yeah. There's really nothing that's going to go wrong. Well,
Nothing.
Liz already hurt, so that's already out of the way, guys.
Well,
Next time we see
Nothing
you,
else
it'll be
can go
April 12th. We'll have a full understanding of how the season is going to completely play out in 7 days from now. Can't wait. Can't wait.
So keep an eye out. Well, first of all, before you leave, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Like this episode, and also keep an eye out because we like to do random playbacks. We had a lot of fun the first one.
We gotta have a Cubs one coming soon, right,
Yeah,
Aldo?
Whenever
we
you guys want. Just
I hope.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Cubs.
Then we can like we can talk about the White Sox. We can just insult you and put you down and insult you again.
no, whenever you guys want.
We
Just
do have to say that we 0-1 for the Sox. They lost.
Yeah.
1 for the Sox, but 1 for 1 and getting tornado sirens.
That's
True.
true.
That's true.
And me having to go in my laundry room with my family and shelter in place while the game was
If
going
it's
on.
not during a
Next-
Sunday during the Cup race, then I'm there.
It was just a little camping trip. Zach.
Yeah.
That's what I told him. He had a blast.
Well, we were like in shifts because I was late because of work. So I like showed up and then the tornado warning hit Illinois and then Zoe bounced off the broadcast. It was we passed the baton.
It really
Well,
was.
let's face it. Everybody tuned in to see Mitch.
They
That's
were
true.
very vocal about that in the comments.
Seriously.
Mitch
It
is
was like,
waiting.
where is
They
he?
wanna wait.
Yes, very.
Mitch was the
very.
Kanye West of playbacks, really, that night.
Yep.
Minus the
Um,
anti-Semitism.
Well, and the you didn't
You
parachute.
watched 21 Jump Street though. Change your
As
mind.
long as you watch
That's
21
true.
Jump Street, you're good. All right.
Guys
So
got off the rails.
keep an eye out for the playbacks, and we appreciate all the love and support. Go buy some merch, you fucking idiots. We love you all. For
Beer.
Mitch, that's Fids. That's Aldo. I'm Zoe. We will see you guys